Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dock Masters 2023. We're in the Netherlands at the Boulder Hall Energy Hub, and this is the third time this competition has taken place, and it's semi-finals day. Now, as you can see behind me, we've got a lot of crowd stuff going on, and it's absolutely packed here inside of this gym, and it's only the semi-final, so as you can imagine, the audiences are going to get bigger, and hopefully you guys are going to get more and more into this competition as we get going. Now, things kick off officially around 8 p.m, so we're going to use this as an opportunity to show you guys around the gym, show you where the athletes are warming up, and we're going to meet my co-commentator, Mr. Sean McCall, who sadly can't compete because he's injured, but I get his expertise here in the commentary box. Now, as with any gym, as you can imagine, it's a working gym. We've got a bar behind me where you can grab a drink, some good food. There's some lovely banana bread going on back here. And we're kind of on the outskirts of the main arena here. And as I take you through this sort of chill out area, we've got some nice sofas, some areas to sit, chill, some lovely lights around, around the plant, and then upstairs is where the isolation area is. So I'll see you up there because it's a little bit tricky for my cameraman here to walk and for me to talk. So I'll see you in a couple of seconds. Stairs now, and this is one of the good things about these kind of competitions is usually we don't get to see the isolation area, but we get to check it out today. And look, waiting for me, ready, is Mr. Sean McCall himself. Sean, hey, how are you doing, and why are you not competing here this evening?
Yeah, so I mean, just a big elephant in the room, just kind of get it right out of the way. So I had shoulder surgery in September. I heard it at a World Cup last May, so I'm kind of slowly making my way back. My goal is still to make Paris Olympics 2024. I have to compete sometime this year. Not now, most likely won't do the first couple World Cups, and with the format, it was a little bit too hard, we'll say. I'll do some scramble formats, maybe even come and try the scramble tomorrow, but just scramble for now, so I won't compete for a couple of months, and just like, again, my mind's on Paris, so I just have to get there.
Awesome. Well, look, sadly you're not competing, but I get your expertise in the commentary box, which is brilliant because the man is an expert. So, Sean, let's go into the isolation area, shall we? Because this is one of those secret areas. I mean, you're an IFSC athlete. Tell me, why are we usually not allowed into this space, and what happens up here that we can't see?
So it's funny, we kind of disallowed media and photographers in isolation because it's a little bit like, kind of like a sacred zone. It's like a little bit almost like weird and like, anyways. So right now they're doing the technical meeting, which is like nothing strange. But you know, the way that people warm up, the way that people get ready, the way they're focused, it's almost like that person that the inside of you that doesn't want to be seen sometimes is that part of you while warming up. And so that part, in one perspective, deserves to be a little bit hidden from the world. And it's not to say that like the competitors in here are completely different from what they are on camera, but if I want to put forth, I'm Sean McCall, I'm this height and whatever, I'm this and I'm super extroverted all the time, then that's the person that I want to be. And if I'm not that person in real life, this will show you a little bit more, funny enough, but if I wanted to hide, say, an injury, what if I strain my hamstring and I need to warm up a certain way and it's all taped, but I don't want the world to see it. I don't have a hamstring injury, by the way, but something like that. They deserve a place where they can actually do that in peace. And it was from discussing with the IOC Athletes Forum where that came into play. And I was like, well, it is isolation. You're not allowed to have Wi-Fi stuff and Bluetooth stuff. You can't have anything in here. So we're like listening to really old school iPods and stuff like that. But this is where they warm up. They have lots of great walls. They usually have like climbing boulders and places to do pull-ups and sometimes weight equipment and just, sky's the limit kind of thing. But this is where they warm up, and they literally have to walk out these doors and go to the first boulder. So it's very important.
And it's always interesting because sometimes isolation areas are sort of separated and you can't hear. Up here, you can hear the crowd all the time. Does that sort of get the heart rate going? Is it more nervous as an athlete if you can hear what's happening, or does it actually make it more exciting?
It's both. You get more nervous, but you get more pumped up because it is so close. Sometimes, again, we're in a shuttle. We have to take a shuttle, a 10-minute shuttle to get to the competition venue, and you're so isolated. You barely realize that there's a competition going on because you're warming up in this this desolate place. With the competition so close, you'll know if the first few climbers that are technically ranked 16 to 20th do the first boulder, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh man, I have to do the first boulder. So it's a bit more nerve-wracking, but at the same time, like we can see here, the atmosphere is a climbing competition. And so, I'm in it right now. I haven't even started warming up. I'm ready to go climb these boulders. So you give them 45 minutes an hour, and, they're going to come out, and they're going to be ready as well.
All right, well, let's try to sneak a little bit closer, shall we? Because we don't want to disturb them, but we do want to show you guys what's going on. So if we just back away until I get shouted at, and let's try to get a little bit more into the light, because we've got coaches here, Camilla Moroni down there, down jackets warming up. I'm going to keep my voice a little bit lower. Hopefully you can hear me. So, Sean, I'm noticing a lot of athletes not warming up yet. That's because of this semi-final format, isn't it? Because some of them won't be climbing for a while.
Yeah, so there's 20 male, 20 female in semis. So that means that the 20th, whoever ranked 20th comes out right at 8 o'clock. But if you come, oh man, math, right? The second person who everyone goes 5 minutes later and later and later. I didn't practice this, so
definitely don't use math.
Question. The 20th person comes out, 5 times 20 minus 5 minutes, so about an hour and 35 minutes after 8 o'clock. So you're doing the math, you're okay. They come out at 9:35. So the person that qualified first won't even warm up for probably another 15 or 20 minutes. But it's all some of them take an hour to warm up, some of them take 20 minutes, some take 2 hours. So it's whatever you're comfortable with. Usually you should err on the side of warming up a little bit earlier because you can always just, sit there. Whereas if you have to warm up quicker, it's usually a little bit annoying. So a lot of people, they'll just hang out, stretch, maybe read a book or something. And then, you can see behind us, there's actually a couple, I believe they're kilter walls on 2 different angles. And they're actually pretty good. There's some really good holds on that. Then they have a campus station, some dead hanging stations, I believe a moon board. And so, and then obviously the weighted stuff here, but kind of everything you need. I mean, a nice vertical wall with jugs would be nice too, but I guess they're better climbers than me.
We can always complain. We are climbers after all. Now, if you're wondering what's happened to the competition, we're about sort of 20-ish minutes out at the moment, and we're just sort of showing you guys some behind-the-scene action here, stuff you don't get to normally see. So, Sean, I'm noticing we've got a gentleman over there with a medicine ball going on. We've got the rings and obviously the climbing wall behind me. So, you personally, how do you start this? Do you go big muscle groups and then you work on the fingers? Do you have a routine that you go through?
So I for sure have a routine, and I've been doing this now for 25 years. Sure, dating myself, but literally the warm-up is like, again, it's not sacred, but it's so ingrained in my head that I literally do the same thing, whether it be training or competitions, because I know that as I'm going through these steps, I'm becoming a good climber, basically. So I start with, I have a lacrosse ball, I have a double lacrosse ball, I have a bigger ball, and so I start with my feet, and then I kind of work the way up. But you are kind of starting, you're supposed to start with cardio, totally forgot about that, but you're supposed to stay warm. I usually have a shower before I come to ISO, so I stay warm from being in the shower. So I'm already 20 minutes into my warm-up, which is, some people find that weird, but I literally have to stay warm, because if I'm really cold like I am right now, and I go and try to climb or I try to warm up, it actually takes me a long, long time. So just weird things, but basically everyone's gonna start with similar things. They're trying to get their body parts warm. Some people go and they do a few pull-ups to get it warm. Everyone's a little bit different, but mine takes, roughly an hour, and I start climbing, half an hour after I start my warm-up. But again, everyone is so different, and it's not at exactly half an hour I go climb. It's anywhere from 15 minutes to 40 minutes, and then oh, I'm too cold right now, I need to do more running on the spot to warm up a bit, or, oh, I can't crimp yet, or I can't do pull-ups yet, or I can't do push-ups, and so you're always just tweaking, but you have to be ready at that certain time, usually about 15, 20 minutes before you go out to climb, and yeah, that's what it.
Well, look, you got Team Canada's flag flying proudly. Canada is a long way from the Netherlands where we are here now. Why did you guys make the decision to come to this comp? We've got Alana here, for example, from the Canadian team, a few other guys as well. So why did you come over? What was the decision-making process behind this competition?
So, in a nutshell, climbing and training in Europe is better than in North America, just very plainly put. So we come over here for the training, the competitions, and then this is also just a great event. And so it's early in the season, we're beginning of March. Usually the first World Cup is sometime in April. So usually we can come over on a trip that's like, between 2 and 4 weeks long, do a couple competitions, train in between, and then still have enough time to go home and make small tweaks where we have 2 or 3 weeks to be like, oh, I need to work more on slab, or I need a little bit more power. And are you gonna gain a lot of power in 3 weeks? No, but at least you're starting it and you don't just, whatever that is. So usually we come out, we do a couple comps. So there's been the Quiff up in Sheffield, there's been Studio Block in Germany. This is the third year now. I think they started in 2019 and then in 2020. And so usually we were looking for competitions that are, it's not that it's not at a World Cup level, but a lot of the World Cup athletes end up going, again, as this like pre-World Cup zone. Yeah. Like, is the Japanese team going to fly over for these kind of cups? Probably not. But if some of the Japanese are in Europe training, they actually might. So same thing with me. I now come over and start my trips with these competitions, but usually it's come, train for a week, do one comp, do 2 comps, whatever. And then the organizers are actually really good at kind of inviting. So they usually invite the top, depends, 6, 10 athletes. And so they say, well, look, we can sometimes pay for your hotel, sometimes they can pay for a flight or a train or something like that. And so then for us, it's just a lot nicer. Where, I mean, all the competition organizers are actually really good. It's actually quite amazing, especially when you can get into that top 10, top 20. I've been invited to many competitions in my career, and I just absolutely love it. And I was invited to this one, but I think I got the invite about a month after I had my surgery, and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, you guys. I'd love to come, but I don't think I'll be ready. But I'm here now, which is super cool to do the live stream, because Alana really wanted to come do this comp, and so we were supposed to be training in Germany, I think, somewhere, doing Studio Block next week, and we're like, no, let's totally drive over there. I'm still not going to compete, but yeah, do the live stream. Here we are.
Well, that's the story behind this competition. And again, if you're joining us, we are moments away from the semi-finals itself. Semi-finals tonight, finals tomorrow evening, 6:45, I think the live stream starts, round about that, Central European time, okay? So we've got to whittle down our athletes. We've got 20, however many it is, have qualified through. We've got to get to 6 for the finals. And this is tricky, isn't it? Because there's not just World Cup athletes here. We've got some more, and I'm not going to say regular climbers, because these guys are, to get this far, they're pretty good. They're better than me, put it like that. But that's tricky for route setters, because you've got some of the best in the world, and then some others not quite at that level. Difficult to set for that disparity.
Very, very difficult, yeah. I mean, the hardest part is definitely, how do you set the semis? Do you make it so hard that those top, 3, 4 World Cup climbers are really going to struggle? Or do you just kind of set it so that they're going to do 3 or 4 boulders, it's going to maybe come to tries, and then the rest, maybe the 2 or 3 others? I always just guess, because the route setters, they're really smart people, they're really good at route setting. I always assume that they go somewhere in the middle. They're not going to make it so that only one boulder gets topped. I always like to think that they want all the boulders to be topped, which is general consensus, yes, we want every boulder to be topped. And you still have one more round in finals to separate them. So if there are multiple people that do all 4 boulders, I think that's totally fine. If all 6 people that make finals do all 4 boulders, it's actually maybe still fine, but it's a little bit worse. So it's funny, because on the World Cup circuit, we always say, okay, there's 4 boulders in semis. What's an ideal situation to make finals and to not make finals? And so usually the consensus is, if you do all 4 semifinal boulders, you make finals. And then there's the next step. If you flash 3 boulders and you make the zone in the last one, you better be close. And like sometimes we've had just both ways, where you don't make it, you do make it. We've had sometimes where you do 1 boulder and you make it. So it's never perfect, but I'd like to see it where 5th to 8th place are doing 3 boulders. Maybe it took them a few too many tries, maybe it was still like 4 or 5 tries and they couldn't get that last zone, whatever it is, somewhere in there. It really sucks if you do all the boulders out there and you don't make finals. That's the worst.
Well, there you go. That is the expert opinion of Sean McCall over here. And we're about 15 minutes out, which means it's almost time to leave this area. Let's just quickly talk about top qualifiers because there's a few behind us. Stachio for the women, #1 position. And for the men, Sam Avazu. 2 very strong climbers. And Sam especially, last year, we really saw him come forward, making his name. One and both of them really to look out for that finals.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, qualifying first, even second and third, you really look at the top 6, look at the top 10. You'd really never know who's going to be good in those semifinals. But yeah, they'll be really interesting to watch, and it's going to be cool because we're going to see kind of how the boulders are going to work, and then we're going to get to them, and we're going to be like, well, they better be able to read it, but it's hard. It's really hard to be able to get out there. You know, it's either being done, or maybe the crowd goes wild because it's some weird jump or just, yeah, something weird could happen. So I'm excited, and yeah, hey, let's go.
All right, man. Well, listen, I think we're going to head upstairs now to our commentary box, get ourselves set up for the competition where we'll talk you through the boulders. I've been chatting to the route setter, and we'll go through all the rules as well. If you're new to competition climbing and this is your first time watching it, don't worry, we've got your back. So I think our camera guy is maybe going to stay here, but we're going to head off upstairs. Best of luck to all the athletes. Sorry, what was that?
The time. We don't have a clock here.
The time is 7:45, and I've been told specifically I'm not allowed to talk to you. So you calling me over, frankly, has got me into trouble. But now you're here, #1 qualifier. Congratulations. Unbelievable. We just get kicked out of the isolation area. Stasha, thank you very much. Right, we will leave you. We'll see you upstairs in the commentary box. Thank you for watching this little preamble. Hope you're getting excited. Go get a beer, a cup of coffee, and we will see you in a couple of minutes.
Mooie boulders gaan we straks allemaal zien. En de klimmers hebben 5 minuten per boulder. Dus dat geldt dus ook het inleestijd. Ze hebben deze boulders nog nooit gezien. Ze komen hier de wand op, de mat op. En dan hebben ze een nieuwe boulder en dan moeten ze 5 minuten gaan klimmen. En daarna klimmen ze dus achter elkaar door. Dus 5 minuten klimmen, 5 minuten pauze, 5 minuten klimmen. En straks staat de hele wand vol met klimmers, vol met actie.
Er gaat dus best wel veel gebeuren achter elkaar door. Hey, trouwens, even een kleine check tussendoor. Wie van jullie spreekt geen woord Nederlands? So, who doesn't speak any Dutch at all?
English people in the house?
Yeah, so I see a couple there. So just a short recap. We're us. And tonight's going to be the semifinals. If you don't understand what we're saying, because we will continue in Dutch, just tap your neighbor on the shoulder. They will be very happy to translate. Every now and then we will translate something for ourselves, but like mainly it's going to be Dutch. Is that okay with you? Are we good? I can't hear you, so I assume we are. Alrighty then. John.
Yes.
Moeten we nog wat vertellen over hoe het hier in zijn werk gaat tijdens de wedstrijd zelf?
Nee, ik denk dat het vrij duidelijk is. De meeste van jullie zijn allemaal klimmers, denk ik wel. Hè? Allemaal boulderaars. Wie van jullie zijn allemaal boulderaars? Steek je hand op. Ja, iedereen is een boulderaar, toch? Dus...
En wie van jullie heeft zich laten overhalen om mee te gaan en heeft eigenlijk nog nooit pof in zijn handen gehad? Oh, dus we hoeven niet alles uit te leggen vanavond.
Nee, denk ik niet. Dus, maar even in het kort. Ik zal heel even jullie meenemen hoe dit spelletje nou werkt. We hebben hier 1 boulder. Ik loop er even naartoe. Achter mij staan 4 tapejes op de wand. Dat zijn de startgrepen. We hebben een zonnegreep. Dat is vaak het midden van de boulder. En we hebben een topgreep. De bedoeling is om de boulder in zo min mogelijke pogingen te klimmen. En de jury geeft aan wanneer een top is behaald. Dus juich niet te vroeg. Pas als de jury zegt top, dan is de boulder getopt.
En het is misschien nog wel even goed om te weten, want ook ervaren klimfans zien nogal eens wat verschillende puntentellingen. We letten vanavond op tops in zo min mogelijk pogingen. And on screen.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our commentary box. And if you're wondering, by the way, yes, I've got a massive scrape on my face. It's very unfortunate. It feels like the first day back at school with a zit, but hey, that's what's going on. Sean, right, we're back in a more familiar position here in our commentary box. Yeah. tell me about the boulders themselves. How many do the athletes have to face tonight?
So they're going to do 4 boulders. They're on a 5-minute rotation. I know the IFSC moved to a 5-minute rotation with an extra 15 seconds in between the boulders, so they're not going to do that. It's actually a little bit overkill almost from the IFSC does, but it's nice when you're at a huge event just to kind of clear the mats, especially when they have brushes and everything. Here, it's actually better without the 15 seconds. So they're just going to do 5 on, 5 off, 5 on, 5 off. They're going to run through 20 competitors. There's going to be 4 boulders per gender, 5-minute rest in between. At the very end, they'll go to a 5-minute zone just in case there's any appeals, something weird like that. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, well, we're looking at the comp wall here now. And the first thing I noticed, not really many slabs on offer here. Towards the left-hand side of the wall, it is a bit more slabby. But you can see the big cave section in the middle, and that has created some quite thuggy boulders for some of the athletes. Looking at a comp wall like this, what kind of sort of styles of climbing are going to suit certain athletes?
So it is tricky. I got to look at it pretty quickly, and it is really steep in the middle, but it's not too long. So it's going to be, you know, those quick like 2, maybe 3 moves out the steep, and then you're probably going to want to get your feet up over the lip or something weird like that. Like this is the far right side of the wall. Yeah, female one. And it is pretty cool because a lot of them, once you kind of stand up off the ground and your feet are at 4 or 5 feet, you can almost get to the top of the wall. And so the boulder problems are very, very specific. It's like each boulder problem has very specifically 2 or 3 moves. And it's funny because sometimes I call them tricks now because a lot of them are tricks. So if I interchangeably use those, it's a move, but it's kind of a trick. Because, you know, if you're throwing your foot over there, doing a double jump or a double clutch or a foot stab, it's a trick. It's still a climbing move, but we just kind of call them tricks now.
As long as you don't call them parkour, I think everyone will be happy with
Yeah.
fine. Now look, on this screen we've got that zone mark there. Now I know a lot of people watching at home will understand the rules of comp climbing, but for those who don't, explain to me a bit about what those shapes on the wall mean and how they affect the scoring.
So every boulder has 4 tapes to start the boulder, a zone hold, and a top hold. They're labeled with the I think it's blue and white for the men and another color for the women, but the 4 will be labeled at the beginning. The zone has a big square that says zone on it, exactly like that, and the top has a big thing that says top. To secure the zone, it only has to be with one hand, and again, with the new IFSC rules, using the zone is a little bit debatable. Not a huge fan of that, but you kind of have to use it. You can't just touch it. You can't just touch it with one finger. You actually have to be engaged on the hold. It's hard because then what's engaged? It's like
There's a whole debate to be
yeah,
had
hold
here,
a
isn't
bit.
there?
But you know, the judges are good, so we trust the judges. And then the top has to be controlled with 2 hands. So it can be 1 hand and 1 finger. It can be 2 fingers, but you just have to show control with 2 hands. There's no time limit. It's not like you have to hold it for 2 or 3 seconds. Literally, if you're on it, controlled with 1 hand, and you come over and you touch it for a millisecond, as long as it shows you control of it, then it's good. If your hips are swinging or your foot's swinging, it's like, ooh, did they really have it? So, you know, hold it. The longer you hold it, probably the better. And then the start, probably the most complicated, is so there's 4 tapes, just so you can see there. You have to have 1 limb, so 1 left foot, 1 right foot, 1 left hand, 1 right hand on each or on one of them. Doesn't matter which one you do, but at one point there has to be 1 on each of them. It gets a little bit more interesting because sometimes you'll climb and you'll be on the wall. You just can't touch any of the other holds or volumes before you establish a start position. So if there's 3 tapes on one and 1 on the other, you could start 2-2 if it was a big volume, but at one point there has to be 3 and 1 before you can touch any other hold on the boulder.
It's a bit like explaining a ball game before you play a ball game, isn't it? All this will make sense when we see it. We will go through it again for those of you who are new to it. Sean, we're looking at these boulders here on the screen. It is sometimes hard from this straight-on perspective to understand the overhangs, but that boulder especially, very crimpy, very, very powerful. That's one of the harder ones, the route setters reckon, for the women. And we talked about boulders that separate. Out of the 4, we reckon 2 are easier and 2 are harder. That's what the route setters think. Of course, everything might change. But something that physical that we're looking at on women's 3 there, that could be a boulder that makes a big difference to who makes it through into the finals later on.
I do think so. And looking at the boulder, it obviously starts on a little sidewall, but it's really steep through the middle too. So again, like you said, it's physical. And normally the hardest boulder is either 2 or 3. It's rarely the first boulder just because they don't want to hit you too hard right out of the gate. And by the fourth boulder, you're usually a little bit tired. So it's pretty common to have the second or third boulder. Again, it's all just, theory. Sometimes the first boulder is the hardest, and you just go with it. But you're not surprised when the second and third boulders are really hard. Sometimes the fourth boulder is actually an easier boulder, but because of the round, it just is very hard. You just have to be ready for anything. And again, you have to be ready. Sometimes you do all four boulders and you don't make it, so tries matter. And sometimes you only do one or two boulders and you still make it. So really, you're just going one at a time. It's always the competitor versus the boulder problems. You're not actually competing directly against other people, which is kind of nice. I've made a lot of comparisons to golf in that way, where you're always playing against the course. And if you just can't do any of the boulders, you can't blame another climber for just being able to do it. You just couldn't do it that time. So you keep training, keep practicing, and try again.
That's such a good example. I've never heard anyone compare it to golf, but you are completely right. It is literally that, because you are against other people, and yet it's the course and what happens going on. Well, let's flip back to our faces. Hello and welcome. If you're just joining us, my name is Matt Groom. This is Sean McCall, who is usually one of the best athletes in the world. I mean, sure, look, I grew up watching you climb. I'm serious. And then you made the Olympics. Huge moment for you. The format's changed this year. When you got in, it was speed, lead, and boulder. Everyone knows how good you are at speed. This year, compared to some, you're brilliant. This year, boulder and lead to qualify. And you said earlier that you were aiming for Paris. That's a big goal of yours, isn't it, for the next couple of seasons?
Yeah, I mean, I with the injury, it's always been my goal to make Paris. And worst case scenario, I go through this, and honestly, if I get injured again and don't make Paris, I'm still really happy. When climbing was included in the Olympics in 2016, I thought I might be too old. I was like, can I make it to 2020? And I was super happy that I did and that I qualified. But honestly, when I started with the Athletes Commission on the IFSC, and it was 2011, and then 2012, I became chair of or president of the committee, and I really wanted climbing to get to the Olympics, but I always thought that it may be right near the end or when I had already retired. So the fact that I got one in, just over the moon. Obviously now we're going for a second, and there most likely will be people that get a second Olympics. If I'm part of it, that's awesome. If I'm not, I'm so happy that Tokyo happened after literally everything, that I would just be a bad person to say that I wanted it and I couldn't get it, and so I'm happy either way.
Awesome. We can't wait for you to compete there. Now, again, we're 3 minutes away from the start here, and it's semi-finals time. Tomorrow is the final, so we're trying to whittle down this massive list of athletes that we've got here. And look, let's go down some of the order, and we will show you the athletes by the end. But some big names. I'm looking at the women first of all. Stasha, as we said, Camilla Moroni, Petra Klingler. I mean, the list goes on. Alana, Madison Fisher, Chloe Collier. And then for the men, also that top 10 made up of some big names. People like Victor Bourdrin, for example, came in, and look, on screen now we can see this list of names. Someone like Victor, qualifying in 14th, very young. Competitions like this are a good way for them to sort of learn the ropes and still get that competition experience in without being in the pressurized World Cup kind of situation.
Exactly, and like I said before, there are going to be World Cup climbers that go to these types of competitions. I mean, the organizers, they want it. They want maybe not all of them to come, but for sure they want them to come, and it creates an atmosphere, and it's also a way that some of these up-and-comer climbers or people that maybe want to do it in 5 or 6 years get to compete with them or see them. And so every climber at some point was Victor. Made a couple lead finals. He's trying to go to Paris, and can make it. Can also make LA in 2028. So just we have stretch goals, we have short-term goals, and literally everyone. I was this person however many years ago when I came to my first Masters competition, and I was like, oh, I could win if I climbed really well, but I'm really aiming, I want to make finals, I want to do this, I want to go back on the World Cup circuit, just all these hopes and dreams, and it just kind of cycled through the climbers, but no, it's really good, and it's also really nice to get finals experience, especially if you want to make finals at a World Cup. Coming to these where there is a couple of World Cup climbers, they might climb well, they might just be kind of in the warm-ups, but you do get to compete against them.
Awesome, man. Well, I can hear the crowd outside of our commentary box starting to quieten down. The lights are getting on here because we're about to get underway. And look, let's just start this off. We're not at an IFSC style event here. It's a semi-finals. We're going to do our best to keep you guys updated with not only the scores, but the athletes who are actually competing. But do forgive us if we do make the occasional mistake, because we're working off paper here, and there's a lot going on in the semi-finals. I wanted to ask you about that because for me, if I was climbing in a semi-final and all around me is other athletes competing, is it not distracting when you're on the mats during a semi-final? How do you keep focused?
Oh, 100% it's distracting. I mean, it's all part of it. It's a lot of the time you'll rest behind the wall. Sometimes you have to rest in front of the wall, and then there's whatever it is. But you do know how people are doing, and you just have to really get over it and climb. Just climb. Like, it sounds so simple, but don't worry about the other people. Focus on yourself. The person ahead of you who was in whatever ranking, maybe they're gonna win the round. You don't need to do as well as them. You just need to climb your boulders and look forward to the next one.
Well, we are watching here young Leto Kaf, number 55. He's starting things off, and he does get to climb by himself because the first few athletes out, they get to have the stage all for themselves, and eventually we'll have 8 athletes competing at the same time. So let's have a look at men's one, the first time we see it. And Sean, as you said, maybe not the hardest start, don't want to freak him out too early on. But to me, it looks a bit fiddly. There's not really any holds on this route. There's a lot of pressing and pushing.
Lots of pressing, yeah. It looks like a really cool start. So you have to have one hand on each of it's almost like an iron cross position. You just kind of tag the volume at the bottom. And again, this is a boulder where you're moving through, like you're in between all these holds. So there's so much pressing, and he does need to get into the zone boulder, which is the one above his head, kind of move his feet around, get his feet actually higher, flip it to an undercling, and then make his way to the finish.
Clock ticks down on the bottom right of your screen. 3 minutes 30 left to go. It's 5 minutes for the semi-final, 4 minutes plus for the final. And for a lot of the old school watchers of this, they're going to enjoy that 4+ rule, but maybe we'll chat about all that tomorrow. And right now we see Leto pressing his way up with that right hand, the palm down on the wall, head against the wall as he brings the right foot up.
Oh. Yeah, he's doing it perfectly, I think. I mean, once he gets his right foot up, he can turn his hips a little. He needs to match the zone and then keep going up.
Well, this is a good chance to talk about that zone because he had a hand on it there. Why isn't he given the point for that if he's touched it?
He should have been given zone for that.
Yeah, you're right. In fact,
Hopefully
yeah,
did.
my score's just been updated. There we go.
There we
We've got
go,
one
there we go.
on the zone. The organiser here are trying to put the score on the screen as much as possible. We'll let you know what's happening because we've got the live scoring in front of us. So Leto underway with a zone in the middle of the wall, but a long way to go, and he's way underneath that hole at the moment.
Yeah, and this is a hard one to judge because if he goes up and he touches it and doesn't move and falls, he wouldn't get zone. But as soon as he starts pushing on it and starts moving his foot or adjusting his weight, then he should get it. And so it's one of those things now that has been changed, but if you just climb the boulder and you climb it normally, it's usually pretty obvious when they get the zone.
So Leto waits. He's got the crowd behind him, and it is packed here this evening. There's lots of people watching, and it's sold out tomorrow as well. 600 people have got tickets for
Nice.
tomorrow's event, which is exciting. So Leto, he's got 1 minute 54. Lots of time left on the clock.
There you go. He's pushing hard on his feet there. Go back left too. You can grab that other one.
If you're watching on YouTube, do say hello to us. There's a comment section. I've just pulled it up on my screen. So if you've got any questions for Sean or myself, then drop us a message, say hello, and we'll try to answer you as well. It's nice to see everyone here on Epic TV in the house. There's Teresa Corti sitting somewhere, geeking out on climbing. So Leto brushes the hold, making sure it's nice and clean. He's got probably a couple more attempts in this, but it doesn't look like there's a huge amount of effort going into it, but it's a full body workout for this moment.
Yeah, it's a hard one. And at the very end of his last try, he did go out left, tried to palm the other one. I don't know if that's actually the best way to do it. It might be. Time will tell. It's really just a feeling boulder. Because he's got the zone, I feel like he's got one more try. Maybe wait till he gets to 41 seconds or something, somewhere in there. Anything less, he might be a little bit stressed with time, but yeah, it looks like he's gonna run the clock and just have one last go.
Right, so he's waiting. As I look back at the clock, we heard the minute beeper go off there. Getting support from the crowd, who's packed in behind him. I like the lighting scheme they've got going on as well. A lot of purple, a lot of blues. And you can see just that awkward position. He has to stay, gets that right foot in onto the markers in order to start in the correct position. This is where he's got to before, left hand pressing into the zone. And again, just coming back down, and that could be it.
Yeah, a little bit too tired on that try. But he has 3 more boulders. He got the zone. He's got halfway, and yeah, 3 more boulders.
So I think we're going to see the rotation of the women next who will come on. Let's just see some replays there while we're at that left hand pressing up. He just seemed to get himself stuck there. You can see how much further up he's got to get up, move the feet. End of the round, 5 minute ticks through again, and immediately, as you said, no break period between the boulders on this.
Action right away.
So for the women, Dunya Sike. Russia's starting holds of this. And brushing the holds, I mean, you'd think, look, she's come out, she's the first athlete to climb. Why is she brushing those holds? Is some of that a psychological thing?
It's that, yeah, a little bit of that, a little bit of, again, when you're training, or maybe you were at a competition where there were 80 athletes before you, you should just instinctively just grab the brush and brush the holds. There's something almost like just ingrained in our minds. You look at a boulder, you just brush it, and it could be clean, you just brush it, and you're like, yeah, now it's good.
It's a bit like snooker players chalking up the end of their cue.
Yeah,
you just have to do it. And we get to see boulder number 1, and on that is Tej Peters there. Oh, sorry, Ties Peters.
I didn't see the start, actually. I don't know how he got over there. I guess he just had he was locked off and just touched the one way out right.
He seemed to almost approach it like a layback there.
Yeah, but I don't know how did he get there. Did he? Well, I think he needs to do it like the first competitor, go straight up, just kind of through the boulder instead of going around.
So Dunya takes a moment. I think she's getting some liquid chalk dry and we watch. Yeah, so yeah, we didn't see how he got into that position, but he's way over on the left. And as you said, he needs to be right in the middle of that wall in order to press, ideally. And that is being told by a judge. But we see our first zone. Ooh, a big compression move at the top.
Yeah, a little double clutch. They have a hard toe catch, actually, the women, for the first move. And then from there, you get your feet up and you go to the last 2 holes, and you have to, it's a coordination. You go at the same time. The left hand hits the undercling, the right hand hits that other one, and then another powerful move to the top.
And there's a big toe catch down low to be had where those 3 lines are as well. Not the trickiest of beginning for the women according to the route setters. And again, as we progress through the semi-final, remember the people we're seeing now have qualified in last position. The athletes out last have qualified in first position, but that doesn't mean that these guys aren't going to be topping out. I mean, the amount of World Cups I've done where someone comes out second and somehow makes it through into the next round, you can't look away because the level of comp climbing at the moment is so high.
And even in a World Cup, is that you've qualified last in the round. You have nothing to lose. It's like, oh, she does it, nice.
Up to that double clutch move. Now, can she get to the final hold? Nice. Right hand. She's got a match.
First top, there we go.
Oh, we are underway, Sean. Thank goodness. Well, we've seen one top. Lovely done. Well done. Lovely done. Can't speak. First comp of the year. Dunya there getting it finished off as the time ticks towards 2 minutes, leaving Tej out on the mat.
Yeah, like I was saying, when you come out first or second, or really in the top 5, you don't have a lot to lose, and so you kind of just go for it. It's really nice to be the first person to top a boulder as well, because it hasn't been done before you, so you just get that little bit of excitement. And yeah, we see it on the World Cup circuit, and we decide here with the top on the first boulder.
So that left foot popping, scraped it against his back of his leg there, just in case there's a little bit of dirt on that. We can see one of the organisers running out to brush the hold. The women's is being cleaned as well. So a nice slow start. It's just me and Sean talking about climbing. Welcome to Dock Masters, the first big international competition of the year. And this kind of kicks off this opening season here as we see him in a much better starting position. He's moved from the left of the wall back to the centre.
He also got the reaction of the crowd as soon as he started to put his foot up and start pressing there. They were cheering him on, so I hope he's figured it out to go and keep trying it like that. You can almost like jump and do like a, yeah, here we go, Push. There we go.
Yeah, that right hand palming down. It's frustrating, isn't it? He's worked out the good beater, but at this point he's tired. He's only got a minute left, and in fact he might be calling it.
Yeah, I think so.
So Tees leaves the stage. No top for him and no zone. And people are asking about the scoring. We'll try to keep you updated. We've got the scoring in front of us, which does every now and again flick through, but we're not going to have it on screen that much. But don't worry, we'll let you know what's going on. The idea apparently is that that wall will slowly become fully lit as we progress through the competition.
That's what they were saying, which is pretty cool.
not sure what we're being shown here. That's one of our judges. I think that's just showing the athletes waiting to come on. We get some behind the scenes action for you here. That's our crowd packed in. And the Netherlands, I think people are always surprised by how big a climbing scene there is here. It is packed with gyms, this country.
Yeah, I've been to a few, and this is a great gym right here, actually.
Yeah, 6 of them spread throughout the Netherlands. The Boulder Hall Energy Haven. I think that's how you pronounce it. I did say that, and someone nodded at me and said I'd done it right, so I'm going to take that as full. I've done it correctly, hopefully. Now, hello to everyone on YouTube who's sending us comments. Lovely for you to join us. If you've got any questions for Sean, you've got an expert here in the commentary box, so please take this opportunity to ask him some questions. And again, that almost laybacky start. But you do climb yourself into a bit of a dead end because that next volume is worse than the first one. You can see the lack of chalk on it.
Oh, it might work though. It's hard. He's getting into the position that he can get into from the start, but he's going about it in a little bit of a weird way, which makes it a little bit harder, but it might work. Oh, here's a steep boulder. This one looks powerful too.
Yeah, so that is men's number 2 underneath in that cave section.
Yeah, it looks like really hard because it looks like it's going to be really hard to keep your feet on.
Right, so as our semi-final gets going, we've got more and more athletes on the screen. We'll try to keep up with it as well, but we haven't got names, so if we make a couple of mistakes, apologies. This is Filip Donchev climbing on men's number 1. I think we've got Anja Van Essen out as well, down on the bottom right of your screen on her first boulder of the evening. Leto having a long look at this cave. He's got some big biceps on him, and that doesn't necessarily help you pull through some of these moves, does it? It's not all about muscle in this climbing.
It's hard, and especially on these really steep boulders, you're outputting so much energy per try. Sometimes you get 2, maybe 3 tries per boulder, so it's really hard, especially if you get the zone on your first try. You maybe would try the boulder once or twice after it. He hasn't gotten the zone yet, so you can try give it a little bit more tries, but you're not going to see 9 or 10 tries on these really steep boulders.
Yeah, very physical for the athletes. But it's quite nice, this setup here. Earlier this morning they were qualifying, had a bit of a break, came back for the semi-finals, but tomorrow it's quite a restful day in terms of competition.
Yeah.
Nothing really taking place until the finals, around about 6:45. Will start, and then 7 p.m. Central European time, the comp will kick off. Ooh, from the crowd there, as Anja takes a fall. All the athletes really using up their time here. You can see Leto still resting. And Filip in that layback position, but as you said, he kind of made it work that time, sort of. Obviously not getting his zone, but oh, that's a horrendous side drop knee. He seems to be sort of stuck in 2 minds. Started going right for that push, and yeah, he wants to lay back that first hole.
Yeah, it's weird. Like when I see them climb it, I understand what's going through their mind, but after knowing how it's supposed to be done, I know it's wrong. So it can work. This is, I think, how it was set. Like you push, push, push. So if he gets a little bit more on his right side and pushes up like that, I think that's the way that they set it. But it can work the other ways. And so a lot of the times you're just trying to figure out what works for your body. But here, if his right hand goes up a little bit higher and he kind of reverse cups that thing and gets his left foot up, eventually he'll get into it by doing it like this. But it's just a much more powerful way, the way he's trying to do it.
Just having a look at his fingers there, he's heavily taped up. 2 on the left, 2 on the right, I think. So a bit of a brutal qualifying round for him. That's Filip Donchev. And tape on holds when you're relying on friction between your skin and the hold itself is not ideal.
Especially on these volume climbs. Sometimes it's okay on climbing holds, but on the full volumes, it's difficult.
Yeah, skin shredding. And this start, you can see he's trying to get his heels into play, but it's all quite bunched up underneath him. So less than 1 minute, 42 seconds on the clock. Fall up to that coordination move. Now making progress. He'll get that zone, matches it.
Nice. Figured it out.
This is the furthest we've seen anyone get on it, actually. So 2 hands.
Do it again from that side. Yeah, yeah.
He's only got 14 seconds though. 10 seconds now. That will be the end of his round. So close.
Boys got the zone now.
Yeah, so he'll be on the scoreboard up with Leto. I'll wait for another rotation of athletes coming through as our brushes get going. This is Dock Masters 2023. Starting off the international comp season. Next weekend Studio Block and then Quiff, and then the IFSC circuit starts around about the 21st of January in Japan. And Sean, presumably you'll be traveling to Japan with Team Canada, or are you giving that one a miss?
Most likely I skipped the first one in Hachiochi in Japan, which is unfortunate. I love going to Japan, but I feel like I'm just not going to be ready yet. So most likely I skip that first one and just keep training, keep testing. Oh, nice. Nails the toe catch on the first boulder.
So that is Jens Delu on men's one. Women's one, sorry. I think that's Tessa on the right hand of your screen. So Tessa Robichon. Competition underway. And there is Jens Delu as he makes his way up the central part of that. Almost kind of like an erect poking out of the wall, certainly from that angle. And then you can see women's 2 on the left, really thuggy boulder. You step up a little bit on this. Trying to get the heel in, but there's not a lot to really rock off, because that's the move, that rock off on the heel, I thought looked like the method, and yeah, you saw her rolling.
Yeah, that one, it's definitely going to be tricky. Your body's always falling out of the roof. So you're trying to get a torque, you're trying to get a healer, you're trying to do something to keep your weight under that roof.
Might see a top.
Did it. Second try, I think. Maybe third try. I might have missed a try in there.
So Tessa matches, and she will get another top on women's 1. Starting to realise this boulder is definitely sendable. As we switch back to the overhangs. Toe hooks using the rubber on the toe of the shoe. The bicycle move there. She's hooking with one, pressing with the other. Can't get this opening sequence works out. A few people saying one of our mics is off. Can you hear us? Do let us know in the comments if one of us has suddenly gone quiet. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go check that, Sean. If you've, you hold on there, I'll make sure we're all switched on and good.
Alright, Matt's gone to go check that out. Might be my mic, not sure.
We're being told that people can't hear.
Might be Matt's mic. Oh well. I'll just keep talking. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Oh, made it to the zone. See if you can figure it out. Oh, and this is this really burly boulder number 2. It's close too. Basically for that last move, you have to flip it from a press into an undercling, stand up as high as you can, and then you have to figure out a way to match the finish hold. I think it's actually pretty bad. So he's halfway there. Probably have another 30-second break and then try one more time. Alright, so the YouTube channel says that my mic's okay and Matt's mic is having issues. So he's gone to go and fix it. So hopefully we'll get that resolved and we'll both be back here. So this is the really powerful boulder. Yeah, it almost looks like it might be a double clutch. So you do that first powerful move out, and you get your heels up, and you have to go over the lip. And this is the last move of boulder number 1. Oh, he's going for the edge. He's got to flip his left hand. That's tricky. That's a really tricky last move. It's hard too because this first men's boulder, it's kind of my anti-style as well. And so I'm guessing on how to do the boulder, and I might be wrong. So until we see someone just easily do it, then I'll be like, oh yeah, that's how you do it. Because, yeah, I might be wrong. All right, new 5-minute starts. I think we're gonna see people on boulder 3 now. Here we have Piotr Shab on boulder number 1 and Katarina Eckert for the women on boulder number 1. That's boulder number 3. That's Leto on boulder number 3.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you can hear me now. My mic has been sorted out, we think. Apologies about that. Sorry, Sean, to leave you high and dry out here. I was listening to you chatting out there.
It's weird, as soon as one person's gone, you're like, well, now when I don't speak, it's just silence.
Yeah,
so I have to keep talking.
It's pretty tough. I remember once doing an 8-hour live stream throughout the day by myself.
That's tough.
It's good. I just sort of lost my mind gradually as I went on. But luckily the people on YouTube kept me entertained. And you still are. There's some questions coming through. Someone saying, now they can hear me. That's good.
Good.
Thanks for that. So we're 2 minutes 57 into this round. I think my mic might be swapped again. Okay, apparently it is being swapped again, so I'm going to go quiet for a bit.
Nice. Got the toe catch. Going for the second move. Got to take out the toe. Do a little double clutch. Oh! I'm surprised that worked, actually. It didn't quite work, but yeah, you definitely want to go up with the right and left at the same time. But she almost stopped her momentum, and it was always almost coming back. It's cool. With moves like that, I see exactly how the root setters made it. And then when someone, I guess, breaks it a little bit, I don't expect it to work. But then when it does, that's just life. Like, sometimes it does work like that, and that was really close.
Well, we are trying to fix my microphone situation. I've got people handing me different things all over the place. We've swapped mics, so maybe that will work. Someone's saying I can hear you through Sean's mic. Fair enough. Well, thank you for letting us know, everyone. Apologies about that. But we are watching. Sorry about the stop-start side of this commentary. We've got technical people with lots of earphones coming in and out. But it's all about the athletes, really. And on women's number 1, big right-hand move.
Yeah, there's only been a top on number 1 for the women so far.
So proving to be pretty difficult early on here. Donje Sinke is at the top of the leaderboard at the moment, followed by Tessa Robichon and Anja van Essen in 3rd place. And for the men, Leto Cafe is leading the way. Jens de Lau in 2nd, That's the position.
Ooh, okay, that's the boulder 3. So we just saw Leto on boulder number 3 for the men, and he kind of did that jump to the zone. And so that looks like a tricky one. I think you actually need to jump right hand to the zone and actually go left hand underneath as a kind of press, or left hand to the zone and right hand, but I think it's probably better the other way. Because the way he tried was 2 hands to the zone, and I think the momentum will be a little bit too much. So we'll update that as the competitors go, but I think it's right hand to that zone and left hand kind of comes underneath to stop the momentum. But even the first move is not easy. All right, here we go. Boulder 1. Last try probably. Got the zone though. He should get zone for that.
Well, Sean, I've finally been given microphone number 3 here. I've gone handheld. We've gone old school here in the commentary box. Hopefully that works a little bit better. And yeah, so 6 seconds to go. Nearly a top on women's number 1. Buzzers beep. Yeah, people are saying online, tough first opening rounds for some of these athletes. And it really is a little bit savage early on here in our competition. We've got another rotation through. Some people wearing the Boulder Energy Haven t-shirts. I got given one just before I started. Oh, it works, we're back. Thank you everyone who's telling me online. I'm glad you can hear what I'm saying. I feel a bit weird when I'm talking, I don't know. Right, this women's, let's talk about the climb again. That women's boulder we just saw, very physical, crimps, super thuggy just to get into them though.
And it's hard because on the boulder number 2 for the women, I don't actually know how to do it yet. I think the double toe hook will work, but it might make sense to put it into a heel hook so you can get your hips over the lip before you actually bring your arm to it. It's right in the middle of the screen there with the lime green hold. Oh, it looks like she flashed the opening 2 moves.
And she's got a big toe hook in using the rubber on the left, and we're seeing a top on women's number 1.
Bib number 13, I think that's BB Hammers. We have a different bib number, but I'm pretty sure that that's BB.
There we go. A bit of disparity between things here. We're working it out. This is the first comp of the year, ladies and gentlemen. By the finals, we'll have this all sorted out. But all 4 boulders we can now see on the screen. Do let us know where you're watching from as well. Where in the world are you? What are you up to? What is it, Saturday night now? Glad to see loads of people aren't out partying, or maybe they are out partying, listen to us in one ear while we're in the club. I don't know, I'm not young anymore, who knows? But we're seeing women's number 4, that blue boulder. And yeah, that was the section I sort of said was kind of slabby, but as you can see, I mean, it's still pretty overhanging there.
Yeah, that's the one where your feet are kind of way out on the left. You have to make it through that steep section, and eventually the zone looks like an undercling actually, pretty close to the men's boulder on the right. So there's going to be some trickery with your feet, maybe a heel, maybe a toe hook, or maybe just a big swing.
Loads of people just telling me where they're watching from. We've got people as far away as Mexico, Montreal, your home country, Sean, Vancouver,
Canadians.
Loads of Canadians here. Someone's chilling in Berlin in their living room. Awesome. Northwest Ontario, Canada. A lot of Canadians in the house. Oh, someone's got COVID. Rat Queen. Sorry about that. Right, so women's number 3. That press. This is causing so many difficulties for the athletes. Just turning the lip of this boulder.
It looked actually really promising that she crossed through the volume. I guess there's a little chip right there. Kept the toe hook, and again, just reaching out to try to do a hand-foot match. Maybe if she can get a heel on that, but again, I might just be talking complete nonsense because I'm not underneath the boulder.
No, I know what you mean. It does look like a heel. It looks like a heel and a big rock over. I think it's just because you're so low on it that pulling up on that heel or toe is difficult.
And we did see men's number 3 did try that beta that I said, where you jump right into the zone, your left hand goes underneath, and it stops your momentum. So more and more, I do think that that's the method.
A lot of people asking about climbing shoes, and Sean, we're actually seeing a lot of instances here where climbing shoes are useful, especially modern climbing shoes, because we see so much rubber on them in the toes and the heels to do all of these technical moves that we see. But hang on, let's just stick with the action here, because Abel Mensink is making his way towards the zone, bobbles and foot pops. And we can see a judge in the background running on for the starting position for the women.
Yeah, he walks up the beginning of that like casually too. He's long enough that he can use it and just kind of go right in between all those holds.
Now we're watching probably the hardest boulder in the women's set as the minute marker goes, although this is proving tricky. This is what we were talking
There you
about.
go, she gets the zone. Now she needs to switch to a heel. Halfway.
Trying to find toes, double toes in now. And the thing with toe hooks is it obviously holds you in position, but in terms of moving upwards, you kind of get sometimes stuck in there and you get really stretched out, then you've got toes in. At some point you've got to release them and take the swing, which could be quite difficult on a boulder that overhanging.
Yeah, she got the zone. She should definitely get the zone for that. And it looks like, yeah, you do a really big move or a toe hook to get the zone, and then you have to come in with your right hand to a hold that's closer to the lip, then move your feet again over the lip. So just a long boulder for a boulder that's only 3 or 4 moves. Like when you're swinging your feet back and forth, you can get tired really quick. So
We had a brief look at the men's number 3, I think that black one is, 3 or 4, and
3.
3?
Yeah, 3. It's hard because there's not women, men, women, men, women, men. It's
Yeah.
a little bit hard to see.
Yeah, do bear with us here. We're doing our best, but this is climbing chat at its best. What this really is, and that's what a semi-final usually is all about. We're just chilling out, watching climbing, having a good time, and also seeing what kind of form the athletes are in. And that to me is fascinating. And it's something I asked one of the route setters: is how on earth do you know, especially with the top people coming through, the kind of form they're in? Because halfway through the season, you know the athletes who are strong, you know the ones who are performing well. At this stage, it's just a bit of a guess.
It is. It's really hard to know. And yeah, there you go.
Some jump.
Tried it right, and now it's just like tweaking. Oh, he's got over the lip. Look at this.
Grunting his way through.
A flash if you can match it.
Watch his right hand. He's got to match it in control. Tries to get a toe hook in. Big body tension, and he makes it work.
That looked hard too. He almost fell matching. He almost fell bringing his feet over. But yeah, I think he got a flash on that one.
3 minutes 50 on the clock. Everyone enjoying themselves. A few beers, I think, being passed around down there. We are in the Netherlands after all. Great beer on offer here. A few other things as well. See our packed semi-final hall. Victor Bouldering, he's coming up, might be on the mat. Certainly he's got some fans I can see on YouTube shouting him out. Thank you for everyone who's telling me where you're watching from. Let's do another one, shall we? What's your favourite boulder so far? 1, 2, 3, 4. Men or women? Let us know in the comments. Which one do you think you could do? Which is your favourite? I like the look of that women's boulder that comes out through the cave, not the green one. With the blue and yellow holds on it. That looks pretty exciting to try. But men's number 1 is a boulder I'd never want to go near. I'm not a fan of boulders without crimps on them or holds on them.
Yeah, it looks like Victor got comfortably up into the zone and now has to figure out how to do that flip. He's gonna go like this, double shoulder, try to get his left foot up.
So Victor's on the Canadian team, as we mentioned earlier, young athlete. You're in this very unique position, Sean, where you're competing still, you're on the athletes commission, you're head of the athletes commission. Did your role become a little bit paternal at this point as well? Are you sort of like looking after these athletes, bringing them forward?
Yeah, definitely, and I feel like I've been doing it now for a number of years. Trying to use his flexibility on that one.
We see it on
And
the
then,
top.
yeah, a couple tries for that one, and that was, I think that was Lorraine? Oh, I missed the start number.
This is Leto's last boulder.
Yeah. But yeah, for the last, actually quite a number of years, I've been trying to like almost nurture the Canadian team because I know at 1 year to the next, I may actually be gone. I'm not going to disappear. Like I do want to do coaching or do high performance or do all that, but like maybe I won't be a competitor for much longer. We really just don't know.
I'm sure that will be a sad day for climbing. It really will. You've been such a legend. Please don't retire yet.
Oh, I'll be around.
So Leto pushes himself out. Those blue holds more for feet, and you can see, oh, nearly lost his balance there.
Now just palm with your left hand, get your left foot up.
Go gadget arms, someone's just commented, yeah, that's about right. Yeah, so that section a little bit more slabby on the left. Now, Stasha, because we could see this wall, it was covered by a curtain, but Stasha especially was pretty excited by the angles on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to suit those athletes who like things a little bit more physical. Someone like Stasha, someone like Chloe coming on, Camilla Moroni, super strong, and then for the men as well. It's one of those sets.
Yeah, it'll be tricky, and like I know actually a lot of the route setters, and I know that they're going to do a phenomenal job. So I'm actually really excited to see the final boulders. Usually the final boulders too are more in depth. also because we climb them one at a time, so they can make adjustments, the little quick adjustments that take, a minute or two, so the boulders can overlap a little more. It's a little bit hard here because you have to have 8 climbers on the wall at one time. And so, yeah, the travel of the boulders can't be as much. And it looks like Victor couldn't figure out the top section of that boulder. So I'm curious on how it works.
Yeah, Victor's sitting in second place at the moment. Piotr Shab up in first place for the men. And I'm just going to have a little look at the women's for you while we have a break between rounds. The women, Tessa, still leading the way. 1 top, 2 zones for her. Long way to go though, only our top 6 athletes have been registered at the moment. Everything to play for. Through this semi-final. Spotlight's picking out the crowd down at the front of the wall. You can see the occasional person walking across the top as well, which is quite surreal to see. But there is a whole nother climbing section up there. And there was I can't remember exactly what they called it, but it was for more normal people climbing. They had lots of boulders, I think 50 in total out there, spread inside and outside.
I figured out the men's second boulder how to get over that lip.
This move blows my mind. So you kind of come up with the right hand and you have to cross under with the left.
Yeah, and you're crossing under with the left and it's pushing. You have to push really hard to stop your momentum right away.
It's quite a complicated boulder.
Nice. Looks like a flash. Valencia.
Valencia getting it done.
And a hard stand up for the women on the last boulder.
Men's 4, everyone keeps bobbling off that foot. It looks better on TV than it actually is. It's pretty slopey.
And this is Beebe.
Yeah, and Beebe did well on boulder number 1. Flashed, I think.
Yeah. It's actually already super high on the zone with that good undercling. And now you have to get your left heel up. Come on. Oh, there you go.
Now she's got a toe underneath.
Yeah, so the way she did it was, she has that high zone with her left, but she was trying to put in a left drop knee. So it's either that the left hand is so bad that you have to do a drop knee with the left foot and go again off the zone, or she needs to figure out a way to get her heel up over the lip and keep a toe hook to keep her weight in, match the zone for a sec, and then get up to the second to last hold.
So Tessa, we're watching there. Almost trying to palm her way through that opening sequence. Coming up to about halfway through this semi-final, scheduled to finish around about 9:45-ish. 9:45, 10 depending on the timing. La Sportiva, one of the main sponsors here this evening, thanks to them for being the main sponsor, as well as with NKBV, the co-organizer. We've got a long list of people helping out, and I will tell you that at the end of the competition, but just a big thank you to everyone who's contributed and made this thing happen. Oh, that's so stretched out.
Interesting. So he
kind of broke the beater there.
He put in a left toe hook and did a massive cross to the zone with his left hand, which, is that the way the route setters said it? Ooh, that's a good question.
I mean, you're horizontal with the toe hooks in, and again, you've got to release them.
Yeah, but you can release it either way. You can either do it like he did and have one hand on each, or you can do it like I suggested to do it, where you actually have both hands and just release the toe hook and still cross under. And that's a hard one. Like, I need to see it again.
Just let you know at home, Sean's eyes have just lit up. He's got a smile on his face. He just talks about climbing. Clearly wants to be out there on the mat.
When something unexpected happens, you're like, how did they do that? And then you're wondering if it's possible.
Oh, that move's still proving difficult. And that tempting way of going too far left on that first boulder has caught him out there a bit. Someone's saying their shoulder hurts seeing that. Yep, I totally agree. Sean's does as well, I'd imagine.
My shoulder sometimes hurts just, I move the wrong way and then it's, oh yeah, you're right, I can't do that yet.
Oh, and tease there on that blue slopey thing at the start. Bad footholds, missing a lot of athletes. Bobble off that. Not being able to get underway. Just joining us halfway through the semi-finals here at Dock Masters in the Netherlands. So good to be back here. The weather has been actually not too bad. Every time I seem to come to the Netherlands, it either rains on me or freezes me, but it's kind of quite mild here. And of course, inside the gym, things are heating up, packed crowd. this
No,
move.
last try for Julie. Looks a little bit tired. She's better on her first couple of tries, so she rests a bit. Still has 2 more boulders left too. So this is interesting. And okay, I'm just gonna go out and say it like that was not the way the route setters did it, because I just am guessing on how tall that competitor is, and he looks about 5'9", maybe 10. Sorry, 176.
Oh no, don't say that. I can't do that kind of money. I can't handle that. 5 foot, please. I genuinely have to Google it every time someone asks how tall I am, because I cannot convert it in my head. 5'8". That's where I'm going with. If I'm being nice to myself, anyway. People are asking about the scores. Yeah, we haven't got scores on screens, but we'll try to keep you updated as we go on. And I think our tech team will show them when we get a moment.
Yeah, the scores, there's not a ton like really going on with the scores. Obviously for the men, no one's done that first boulder, but they've all gotten the zone. For the second boulder, we did see a top on that. It's also hard to get the zone, but it's hard because, you know, we don't even have 10 climbers out per gender yet. And so when we get 10, 12 athletes and we see where the boulders are going, then we can more say, you know, this person has 2 tops or 3 tops and is looking like they might make finals or can squeak in or something like that.
Yeah, guessing at this point is a bit of a fool's game. You just don't know. Now we can see in the middle a heel hook, which bobbled off, but I mean, you can see his thinking because he needs something to steady himself in. Doesn't want to do that jump with the cross through with the left hand.
Yeah.
Is that Victor facing out there? No, it's not Victor, sorry.
No, that's a women's boulder. But we also saw someone flash number 1 for the women. That actually looked really good for the women's number 3 on those blues. So it looks like, yeah, you start, you go right hand first, then you do a weird toe hook and you actually cross and face the crowd and do a classic Mission Impossible Tom Cruise style, wink at the audience and then put your feet over to the right.
I've got to know now, have you ever winked at the audience?
So I did it as a parody to the Mission Impossible thing on Instagram, but I'm very adamant that in comps on boulders, you don't do that.
Well, we got our scoring looked up. Sean, I'm going to be looking for a wink now. And whenever you decide to retire, I'm expecting a wink on your final climb,
But the funniest part is, in a comp like this, are the exceptions. It's more of like, if you're in a World Cup, that's the professional stage, so you don't do it unless you know you've won. But I've seen too many times where they think they're going to win, they wink and they fall. But yeah, you can see here.
I'm thinking Manu Cornu here.
This is the women's score. So you can see, yeah, a bunch of tops on 1, they all got zone, bunch of zones on 2, and so waiting for the 3rd and 4th boulder, and then we can guess for how many it's going to be to make finals.
Yeah, and we'll start making predictions. You've got a bit quiet on YouTube. If you're watching us, send us a wave, a smiley face. I don't care. Let us know you're out there and watching. I'm certainly enjoying this competition. Brings his right foot up to... Oh, how did he hold that?
Philip, it's almost on the back of his shirt. I can read it.
Some real core strength. Looks like he was going. Just had it in his fingertips, and now that left foot causing problems. He's got to bring it underneath himself.
Yeah, it's tricky. He's in the position when his foot's out left, he can palm against the wall, and he's stable, but he needs his feet back to the right to do the next move, and so... Ooh, she didn't do it the same way as the last time.
Seems to burn people out, that boulder. It's like the first couple of goes very, very important.
I'm thinking it's Mission Impossible.
There is Victor.
Victor, yeah. Oh, and it looks like he... Does it work this way?
He's got himself all crossed up. Almost.
Yeah, I think he needs his hands flipped, but he got the zone, so it's good.
Victor's on the scoreboard with that boulder. Someone else pressing that into the zone. Okay, a view of the bib number in a sec. There we go. People saying hello on YouTube. Thank you very much. Some very weird emojis going down.
It's hard. As soon as you see someone do boulder number 2 for the men, like Piotr did, you kind of think that most of the people behind them also have to do it to make the next round. It's not always the case. Sometimes you don't have to. Like, he might have just had the boulder, like his best boulder, and he does some more and he makes finals. But yeah, it still looks like a very challenging boulder.
And he's putting himself in a good position by flashing that. watch that women's boulder palming in, really powerful. I think just burning out a little bit there as the 25-second mark comes up.
Yeah, and a less powerful way for that women's number 3 boulder is to go up their left hand first, get the double shoulder, and then throw it up. Throw the right foot out right. You don't get to face the crowd, but it might work.
Yeah, we like the face the crowd moves. The amount of times their route setters have told me that there's a move like that, and the athletes just seem to do everything apart from trying to do that. Well, we have another rotation. Crowd give their applause. What a lovely evening of entertainment for us today. It's good to be back. I haven't talked about climbing for a long time like this. Piotr Szab getting a lot of love out there. Felicia May gets her comp. Well, she's on that green thuggy boulder. Let's have another look at this. Good angle here. Left hand up, brings the right.
That's the zone already. With the toe hook, too. And then undercling. And then once she gets the undercling, that's where, is it a heel hook or is it a drop knee? Unsure.
And these athletes don't get a chance to read the boulder with someone else like you do in the finals. They've come out, seen this for the first time. Now we are missing one woman from these from the competitors list, but I was just told that someone's got a leg injury and has left the competition. I wasn't told who, so I'm going to find out at the same time as you guys watching. But someone is injured. It's Bibi there in frustration. She's top of the leaderboard currently for the women, though.
It's funny, she's number 13. That's my number.
As your lucky number, or do you just number?
No, it's the number I wore when I played soccer.
No superstition coming in?
Well, it's funny, I don't remember when I picked that number, but some of the refs would be like, 13, it's like unlucky number. And then there was always the joke, it's like, oh, it's unlucky for your competitors. And I was like, you guys have heard all the jokes. I just always wear it, I don't know what to say.
Look at that footwork.
There you go, it's a big cross through it too. So he palmed cross through, he's looking strong. He did the second bowler, didn't he?
I think so, he's coming out, he's eyeing up the final hold.
No, wasn't the second bowler.
Now this match, that's a blocked hold. You've got to be so accurate, and you've got to match it.
No feet. There you go, did it. Nice.
Gets it done. Good end to his comp with a top. Got that done early as well. Figured that out quickly.
I don't think he was the one that did number 2. But he got, that was Jens. Jens, yeah.
Yeah, and that has jumped Jens to the top of the leaderboard as well. Got that in 2 goes, that final boulder. Only one to complete it so far. We still haven't seen the top of this climb. Women's 3. Getting close though. DJ turning things up here in the semi-final. Bibi on the left. I'm just going to recheck my score, but I think she's still in the top position. She is. One top, one zone.
Match it up. Oof, that's hard. She went up with the right hand, and then I think she was trying to match.
Fascinated on the left of your screen. Meanwhile, on the right, he's fingertips just letting him down there. Right hand up. That's about as close as we've seen on that.
Again, yeah, right hand up with a toe hook low, and it's hard because if you get it, it's hard to unwind out of that as well. Here's the jumping boulder. Yeah. I do think that's the way. It's too bad that the other way also works if it's not the way they wanted to do it, because you're kind of stuck for the last move as well. And this women's number 4 is another stand-up toe catch with the left toe. Similar to the first boulder, but more vertical.
And with a toe catch move like that, you're not usually looking down at your toes.
No, you're trying to look usually at the hand. So it's funny because this is a blind corner, so they're probably still looking at their hands, but they need the toe to come in because it's on the big volume. It's not the hardest toe catch to get, but they're going to be looking at that little chip if they can see it, and mainly just try to figure out where their hips and stuff are going to be and try to stand up. You really need to stand up here. And it looks brutal because the right foot is so high, it's so hard to actually press up into that position.
That is Sergei Topishko on men's 1.
So Sergey is a giant. If it's the one that I remember, he's tall. He's like 6'2". Best guess.
That is definitely a giant. Oh yes, we see a
6'4",
top on men's too.
Men's too, there you go.
Yeah, being tall is one of those things. It's not necessarily an advantage, is it? It can help sometimes, it can hinder sometimes.
He makes it work. He's been on the World Cup circuit. I've climbed with him a whole bunch, and it's just he climbs differently, and he has to do things differently and make up for things because of his height. But he makes it work.
Sean, you've got a question. Someone's asking, what do you like to do on a rest day during IFSC competitions?
Oof. I mean, I'm a weird person, but I love video games, so I play video games. I wish I could bring my PS5 on the road.
You've got to get yourself a Switch.
I do have a Switch. Yeah, a Switch. Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild.
All right, we'll talk about that later because I've just picked that game up. Meanwhile,
If Nintendo, you're listening, I need a sponsorship.
yes, both of us, please. Lorraine is underway, number 17.
Took it. Nice. Oh, it's crazy. She got up to the left hand.
Yeah, statically, did he jump
But
into it?
can she do the powered through that little clutch move? That's hard. That's really hard.
Yeah, she broke that.
Made it look really, really good.
And she was looking strong throughout qualies as well.
Lisa Clem.
Lisa Clem, number 10. So halfway through the semis now. And we start to get into some perhaps more well-known names for some of these athletes. Black boulder, Victor there, swinging out. Pretty sure it's Victor anyway. I'm trying to squint
I
at the
think
screen
so, yeah.
here.
He was on number 2 before he got the cross and fell on the second to last move. The climber right after him also got the cross, fell on the second to last move. And the climber after that, I believe, just did it.
Well, lots of action going on here. That wall's going to be stripped for the finals tomorrow.
Now here's blue boulder, double shoulder, toe hook. There you go. Nice. Didn't face the crowd, but works. And
This
the
next
first-
one's a long way up to that next crimp, and it's a good crimp. You can see just above the zone, but getting there is hard. And again, that lip pushes you backwards.
And she should have gone to the first flat hold and then gone to the second one. She tried to go to the straight one. She probably thought she was going to be able to do it. And, that was the zone, so she'll have to try again to get the zone. And that was men's 4. That blue. Very. Oh.
So Mark
And last
Brand
move.
needs to get the match here. Trying to get a knee into play, scrubbing.
I think you need the net to get it. Yeah, oh, that works.
Gets stood up, matches, made it look quite calm at the end, but I think that was a battle. Victor missing the swing through. Still no one sending this climb. Drops back down, resets a little bit, up to the pinch, thumb in play, slaps out with the left, upgrades it, but she's got that toe, heel toe in. It's just so difficult because she had a heel toe kind of cammed in on the left, that toe hook underneath, and it just means it restricts how far up you can go before you got to do something with your feet. As you see Lorraine.
Oh, there you go. Oh, yeah, stood up. Oh, so it's not a toe catch, it's a stand up and then a jump. So it's nice that it's not a toe catch. You stand up, you just touch the zone. They probably could have not put a hold there, but they had to because they need a zone. Left foot up, and then a little bit of a blind jump over that volume to the last hold.
I'm glad you said it because from that camera angle, it looks like an enormous hole. When you're standing underneath it, you can just see the very edge of that yellow.
You know where it is because of the tape, but you don't know exactly where it is.
Yeah, hard to see. A minute left.
You really have to stand up. Come on, big jump. Nice. So second, maybe third try on the jump, but better and better every try, and then does it. I think that's the 4th boulder for the win, isn't it? Yeah, the fourth boulder for the women, so that's a great finish, actually, just to finish on a jump and boulder.
Oh, we're seeing progress on boulder 3. We might even see, oh, I'm about to say I jinxed it, might even see the top. Score-wise, Katrina Eckhart is in first position, followed by Lorraine Kervin, and Bibi Hammers gets pushed down to third now. And for the men, Jens still leading the way. Pietro Chab second, and then Mark Brand in third at the moment. Keep you updated. Remember, we're looking for just 6 climbers into the finals. As the timer runs out and ticks through. And between rounds, a lot of people asking what an athlete does in that 5 minutes when they're resting. So go on, tell me, what do? You just shaking out desperately?
So, yeah, I mean, again, everyone's going to be a little bit different, but in those 5 minutes, you're there to recover. So if you had a really hard last boulder, you want to take off your shoes, you want to drink some water, you want to cool down, you can eat something, do whatever you need to, but you need to recover. And so most people take off their shoes. Some people don't, but have them on the whole time is actually really hard. I sometimes even switch shoes because I don't like when my shoes are super, super hot. But yeah, you're there. Some people use fans, some people, but you're there just to relax and get ready for the next boulder.
But they have to do that facing the crowd. They can't look at the boulder, they have to sit there. Does that help kind of keep you in that zone, or is it a bit distracting having the climbing going on behind you, the audience in front?
I mean, it's a little bit of both. I don't actually know if they're in front of the crowd. I thought they were going to be behind the wall for this one. Oh, there you go. Tpishko does the second boulder.
Nice.
Flash. Pretty sure flash.
Yeah, I thought so too, but we just saw a shot there of someone waiting.
Yeah.
I think they might be facing.
I don't know if they're facing her because they said that they were going to be in behind. Oh, BB, last move. Jump, 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 jump.
Try to stretch
Bit
it
more
towards
jump.
it.
Yeah, both hands too. Use both hands. It is hard when you're in front of the boulders because you're just too close, and then people end up trying to cheat, and it's terrible. Then you're
Sign
looking
language.
people well, no, you're like, it's unless you're looking straight forward or down, you can see out of your periffs, and so you look literally 15 degrees one way, you see half the boulder. So unless they put blinders on all the climbers, you just see stuff, and it's bad, and then you have some climbing. Yeah.
Some climbing brand, someone's going to come up with blinders now for competition climbing.
It's it just promotes cheating.
Yeah, not ideal. But it's the difference between like some competitions and then we get ones like this, which feel a bit like a national, a bit like an international competition.
Yeah, but the vibe is good. They have really good lighting, they got DJ, they got good music, good bowlers. The lights were off the whole time before the comp, so they didn't get too hot.
Nika Potapova on the way on the right from Ukraine. She was in a good mood, enjoying her return to comp climbing. And then that's Misha Rat.
Oh, guys, yeah, nice. Oh, keep doing something. I don't know. He looked so good there, and then all of a sudden he's still stuck.
You can see his frustration.
That was crazy because he looked so solid. He stood up, got the flip, and it almost needs to do the exact same thing and just get his feet 2 inches higher on either side, and he'll be able to stand up and go into the underclimb.
Oh, Nika with the toe catch. A big Yanya-esque move.
And a double clutch. Should be finished by now. Just get the top, match hands. There you go, nice.
Easy work at the top. I think that was second go for her. So the top 10 are starting to come out now. Well, we're within the top 10. Nika's number 9. Chloe Collier after that for the women. And then for the men, we've got Paul Brand and Sergei coming soon.
Yeah, it's tricky. We've seen now 50% of the boulders get done, so we know some of them are possible. It's probably still a little bit premature to say what it's going to be like to be in finals, but it's looking like I would still guess 3.
Yeah, more tops for the women, especially on that boulder 1, but we know it's easier. And then the men, no one topping men's 1. And that's interesting because, again, the route setters thought it was one of the easier problems within the set. Obviously not proving to be so on the night so far.
It also just might be one of those boulders that it is so weird that unless you've done a boulder like that, you don't really know what to do. me included.
Yeah, it's quite a unique feature, that sort of sticky out part of the wall. It's not something we often see. Or a cave, to be fair, as well. 20 seconds, I think he's getting back on. One last throw up, but he's already got the zone. 15 seconds, he's gonna have to really motor. I think that'll be him done for this round. Frantic beeping as the last couple of seconds come. So we're about to see Chloe Collier walk on. Yeah, she is announced.
Chloe on number 1. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's confirmation. The athletes are waiting between rounds, so they get their resting period sat there on the chair, back to the wall.
Yeah, I see it now. I see where the chairs are too. We have Zach Richardson, Canadian, on number 2. And actually a strong, like burly climber. So I actually think that he'll have a good shot of doing this one.
He's straight into the zone. This is his flash go.
Is this tease? Oh, top on women's too.
Well, that's a first. It is possible then.
Didn't work with the heel hook that I thought. Just kept the heel toe at the very bottom just to get off that. The zone, I guess, is really bad. So it's just, you need to keep your feet on for it. You don't have time to go up and do the heel hook that I was thinking maybe they could try.
This is Lorraine Kervin. She reaches out to the zone, gets that. Now the jump to come. Remember, quite blind, that yellow hold. So obvious from our camera angle, less so for the athletes.
Oh, nice. Probably second try, I think. Victor over there on number 4.
Victor's in. Chloe's still brushing. She's had a few falls. A few people mentioning we can't really see boulder number 4. Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of that yet for the men.
Yeah, for the men, it's kind of like a slab dihedral. So you're in a corner, then there's 3 crimps at the end with really bad feet, and the last hold is blocked, so it's actually hard to match. Zach on number 2. So you have to up under your foot, big lock off.
By the way, Lisa Clem is on a bit of a roll. There's 2 flashes out of 2 for her. She's up in second position.
What's she gonna do?
It's such a complicated boulder, that traverse.
Super tricky, yeah. I think it probably works both ways. On number 1. I didn't flash it because I see 213 on the clock, which has done it. Just gotta be a little bit relieved.
Yeah, Chloe's on the scoreboard. Yeah, so keep an eye on Lisa Clem, because she's on a roll. Chloe just checks with the judges, make sure everything's all right. Victor swinging around wildly, I think. No, sorry, there.
So yeah, this is the last one. You have to cross through for the feet. If he matches hands, he's gonna have to rematch hands. So don't do that. Whoa, works. Made it a bit harder. He's gonna have to rematch hands, and he should be able to get this boulder done. One more foot match. Oh, up in the corner.
Yeah, left foot on nothing there.
Interesting.
Well, Victor had to fight through that one.
So it worked completely different than I thought, but he kept his left hand wedged as a shoulder undercling, that he could get his left foot up in a dihedral and go to the finish with his right hand. When I looked at it, I didn't even think of it, but it works. Maybe he's tall, maybe, I don't know, but he made it work, so it was really, really good. Even when he was getting his left foot up dihedral, I was like, there's no way you go to the finish with your left hand now. Goes with his right, so really, really cool to see. So I think he finishes with two tops. Did he do? No, he didn't do the second boulder. So Victor's in third place.
Yeah, Mark Brand in first.
I don't think Victor's will be enough for finals, but Mark's with 1 top and 3 zones. Let's see.
Yeah, it's all to play for here. 19 seconds on the clock though, made it through the tricky move, got to release the left. Oh, for a second I thought he had it, kicked the right foot through to stop the swing. 8 seconds to go, everyone leaves the stage, brushes get underway. Lots of people talking about brushes as well on the chat online. People saying they should have some kind of a power tool. And let's look at the leaderboard now. Lorraine up at the top. Lisa with those 2 flashes jumps to second place. Bibi down in third. But look at the 8th position. That's where things, sorry, 6th position. That's where things get interesting. Tessa is in the danger zone at the moment. And of course, big names to come. So nowhere near safe for anyone really in that top 6 yet.
Yes, 2 tops, 4 zones. And how many climbers left? We have 7 more climbers, a few climbing. Yeah, that'd be tight. I worry. I worry for Lorraine.
Yeah, we can't make predictions quite yet. Nika's in the cave.
Well, Tpishko does the cross through to the zone, not even with the toe hook. I bet you if he figures out the toe hook, he'd be able to do it that way, 'cause it's tall. Madison, I get the flash of number 1.
Yeah, good work from her. And a lot of time. Resh did that quickly. As you said, flashed it, so more time for her to rest.
A stand-up boulder.
Yeah, that's
Alicia.
Felicia May on that.
And
That's Nika there. She works her way up, gets the zone. Big bump with the right hand, a bit low on it. Look at men's 3 swinging around wildly there. Finally got the right foot up and now presses upwards. There it is. I'm pretty sure that's a tattoo and not one of those sort of pressure band things on his right hand arm. Women's 4, so technical through here and yet
the
powerful.
double shoulder, get the toe hook. Yep, come on. Oof. So powerful through the arms, through the shoulders there.
That hand switch on the right hand looks really difficult to flip it into that,
Yeah,
almost
that's
like
hard.
a guppy, quite difficult.
Oh, last move. Oh, kept her left foot on too.
Felicia just gets the top there.
And I hope the judges give her the top for that.
And that really difficult move in the men's 3, causing a lot of problems for everyone. So 2 minutes 13 on the clock. Nika pulls on once again. Every go on this boulder is going to be burning her out. She moves the left up, right hand into the pinch. Toes are working underneath. This looks a bit better from her.
Yeah.
Just under it still. Anyone who didn't hear Sean's scoring explanation at the beginning, tops are obviously the best. You've got to match the top, control it, and there's a zone kind of in the middle or wherever the route setters decide it to be. That's the first scoring opportunity. And the quicker you do a boulder, the better it is, and the least attempts possible. Such an awkward press, that.
It's a weird boulder, the number 2, because it's counterintuitive to how we usually normally climb. Because you go to the zone first with your right hand, and you do a weird cross under or crossover, then get your foot out right, and then do another powerful move, where normally we'd end up with our left hands on the zone and do something with a little bit of momentum. So, curious if the route setters set it like that. I think we did. Or if that's just the way that it's being climbed.
It's good to see, and it's nice to see lots of different methods being used. It's interesting for us, and hopefully you guys back at home as well, as Nika into the zone again, just a bit low on it. This is the move. Bit more static from him.
Oh, gets the toe hook. Second toe hook.
watch that crimp. Crowd get behind him.
Someone's getting on the top of the number one.
This is the first time we see it. Yes, we see a top on men's one.
And he crimped the top of the volume, which people are going to be crazy mad that either they didn't see it or that was the way it was set. I'm going to say it was not the way it was set, because it looks like he's like shaking his fingers like he just crimped the side of a razor blade.
That was Hannes van Dyson. Perhaps upsetting some route setters there.
But a really smart read to be able to figure out to do that, because everyone's stuck under. He literally just grabbed the top and he's like, oh, it's good enough that I can crimp. Gets two hands on it and eventually makes it to the finish.
Hey, look, if it was luck, you need a little bit of luck every now and again, but he really made it work for himself, and that's helped his score. There we go. That is the score. So Mark Brand's still on top position. Not a lot of tops so far for the men. Boulder 2 looks the most doable in terms of that stats that we're seeing on screen. Keep your eye on men's number 1.
Thanks to the women.
So Valicia still on top. 2 tops for her, the first and last.
With one try less to zone to pass Lorraine. Lana on number 1, using the power method, does it. Pretty sure that's also a flash for Alana on number 1. Oh, and she does number 3 with the toe hook and everything.
Yeah, she's looking
almost at the top. Can she match? Easy.
Lisa Clem is on a different
top.
level here this evening. Right, hang on, I'm going to check the boards because we know she got 2 flashes really early on.
She's on 3rd, 3 flashes.
That's 3 out of 3.
3 out of 3. Whew. On fire in these semi-finals.
Yeah, Lisa Clem, one to watch for sure. Can she make it 4 out of 4? That'd be impressive stuff. Hang on, look at men's 2. That's new. All the way on the right-hand side.
Oh wow, it worked. That's the first one. He got the zone, but he might be stuck.
Yeah, I'd like to see how he got into that position. I mean, he's looking at the chalk. There's a lot of chalk on that right-hand side volume now. Maybe he thinks that's the way.
Oh, see, she did it like I thought people would do it. Left foot, heel, and go again. Left hand will finish. Good match.
It's Mark Brand, who is leading the way, gets another one. That's going to help his score. So I'll check.
So the 2 tops, 2 and 4.
Yeah, Mark's got 2 tops, 2 zones. The zones were flashes.
With 6 to go, and Hannes did the first one.
I'm so glad that Sean's trying to do the maths here. I just full stop refused to. Made too many mistakes. Different beta from him now as he presses up.
And this is where Hannes grabbed the top of the volume and just found the method. This might work too. Yeah. Keep up, bumping up the feet.
All the time his biceps burning.
Wrestling with the wall.
Oh, I could feel the pain he was going through there. Every sinew stood out. Core and biceps really being worked as he tried to bump his way through. He's tall though, managed to get that long left hand pinch in.
So we're here at number 2. This is the way that I read it, and then up at the left. It's powerful, but once you get the left, it works. You stop. Oh, with the right.
So I didn't catch it. Did she try to go up left hand before that and then has changed to the right?
I thought she did. It's hard because when you come out and you do that with the right hand, your left hand is having a hard time keeping your body on the wall. Before her, I should say.
2 hands up there.
And she's small. She's gonna have to jump for that one. Got to be 5'2", maybe 5'1".
Yeah, she went up with a double hand, just missed it. Might reset things. 45 seconds to go. This is Paul Brand as he's pressing under. Didn't have a lot of time to recover though, and I think that time before this really took it out of him. Chloe's back in action. And we see a
Oh, there you
top.
go. Yeah.
Well, she made that adjustment you were talking about. Gets it. With 20 seconds to go.
Last boulder too. There you go, left hand. Oh.
Chloe matches. We've only seen one top on this so far.
Keep it in. Yep. There you go. Yeah. Oh, stay high.
Gets the forearm into play. But she's only got 2 seconds. She's got to match it.
Oh,
Oh, is that going to count?
I
She's smiling.
don't.
Well, let's keep an eye on her. She's walking down
Yeah,
towards
it's
the
tricky.
judges.
There's always a chance that the timer we see here is slightly off from the real timer, so not sure. From what I saw with the timer on the board, she didn't match in time, so we'll see what the judges have to say.
Yeah.
Usually you know too.
She hasn't been given it yet, but there's a bit of a delay in the scores being updated.
That's crazy too, because in qualifiers, she finished a boulder at the end after the hour and a half, where she started climbing at 1:29 or whatever, and took a minute to climb the boulder, and they didn't give it to her. So that would be the second round where she tops a boulder, but just out of time.
no.
Here's Jenya.
Yeah, Jenya very quick there, less than a minute to get that boulder done.
Oh wow, Madison up with the right hand and the toe hook, and now needs to get the toe hook out, which grabs the undercling in the very beginning to get it out. Now you still need your right hand, yeah, right there. Oh, there's a chip on that one, just to get to the finish. Lots of time left. Just needs to match, stay tight. Nice. So
was-
she gets a flash on boulder number 2, so flash, flash.
You could see her thought process there,
Yeah.
couldn't you? It was really interesting
Yeah.
to watch. All the little adjustments, so strong to be able to hang on that long. Nika on the left with 3 minutes 30. God, it's been such a quick round.
Toe hook. Ooh, see, he looks about my height, and he was too stretched out to do that, so
Right, where is
curious.
Lisa Clem? She should be on in a couple of seconds. And the reason we're interested, well, in 3 minutes, we're interested in her because she's on a hat trick at the moment of flashes. Wants to make it 4.
Yeah, flash, flash, flash. And she'll be next on this last boulder. You think she'll flash or do second try?
I mean, she's in such good form. I'd love to see it happen.
It would be nice.
It really
yeah.
would be cool.
A perfect round is one of the nicest feelings.
Sergey on his final boulder brings the right foot up. Got to be precise on those little jibs or screw-ons or whatever you want to call them. And Nimrod Marcus really stretched out. Tries to find something underneath. Remember, nothing really to hold on to. Thumbs in play. Yeah, the more we saw it, the more that crimp looks outrageous on that boulder.
Yeah, he just figured it out. He just went for it. So I wonder if I can crimp around the edge of this volume. And funny enough, the volume is so long, you can probably get your fingers and bend the volume back a little bit, which is a little bit unfortunate. But he saw it, and yeah, you're allowed to take advantage of that if the root setters don't put a piece of tape on it. So it's totally within the rules.
That's Lucy on women's 4. Struggling with a stand-up move, not overbalancing, falling backwards.
It reminds me actually in a comp in Vale, the last move was this big flat hold up with the right hand, and you're supposed to grab the slopey part of the flat hold. And I'm standing there on a slab, and the last move was hard, and I'm like, well, I might as well see if my fingers are gonna fit on this hold, and literally just nails. And it was so easy the last move. Match, it's the end of the round, and I get off, and like, yeah, only people that have done it just crimp the back. And anyone that tries to use the sloper, they all fall. Like that's unfortunate, but yeah, it's been done.
People are asking about men's 1. It has been done. Hannes van Dyssen got it done in 5 goes. He's the only one so far to top it. Ooh. Oh.
Yeah, and yeah. It's hard too, because that first boulder, because you're pushing, can be so physical that if you try it too many times, especially because it's the first boulder, you might be too tired to give good attempts on the rest of the boulders. So it's tricky. Like, they kind of know that no one's done it. So is it a boulder that is just too hard, or is it a boulder that they kind of need to do that you just really don't really know? And from the look of it, you stand in front of it, there's 4 or 5 holds. It looks simple.
Nimrod with a crimp. This is the move that Sean
There you
drew our
go.
attention to. It's so disgusting.
So he's crimping it. It didn't look like he
Has he got a knee bar as
bent.
well?
Maybe a little bit. Ooh.
Wow, well, it was his last go. He might as well have tried something different. He went for kind of a knee bar and the crimp.
And just from the way that he did it, the crimp is definitely not big. I'm sure it's like worse than a 6 mil or something like that, like a 4 or a 3 mil. And so it's hard.
Yeah, those little holds are becoming more and more sort of fashionable now as training increases, and you get 4mm holds that you can train on.
Well, especially if it's like around a corner, around an edge, or like on a slab, where they really just want you to use it to shift your weight, and then once you shift your weight across, it's useless again.
Oh, here we go, Lisa. Can she make it 4 out of 4? She is
That's
at
the
the
first
moment.
move. Oh, if she hits it, she does it.
Ah,
4
clean sweep by Lisa Clem.
for 4. She did it pretty easily too. It wasn't even like she was stressed. That was like really nice to see.
Yeah, that's some beautiful climbing from her. Well, she's firmly in the top, and there aren't that many athletes to go. I think she has actually secured herself a place in the finals as Lisa with 5 to go. He says predicting that one without having worked out the
5, 6,
maths.
7. It's technically possible that she doesn't make it, but I would say highly unlikely. That was
Lynn Vandermeer, I think.
Flash Boulder 1. Ooh, maybe second try. Hard to say how long she's. Alana, number 2. Gets the heel, bump, left. Oof, very powerful move.
Lana joining me in the commentary box. Lots last year. I keep telling her she's got a career in media waiting for her when she finishes this. The two of you should start some kind of a underground or overground commentary position, I reckon. Team Canada.
Like a podcast or something.
That would be good. Alana's having a long look at it though.
Yeah, it is interesting because Madison went up with her right hand, I believe, with the heel toe, and it works, and then have to get the toe hook out, and so it's hard to know without feeling the holds exactly what the position is like.
You could see him there flicking from a toe to a heel. He's not tall enough to get the heel in to make that jump right work. Flicked it back to the toe, but it's still so hard. And Chloe's on her final boulder.
Oh, Sergio up super high. His feet are in the right position, but yeah, it looks so hard. I'm curious. You would have to make your way to the right, so I think you do want to be under it, but yeah, I don't know.
Alana with up with the right hand.
And it just needs the toe hook, actually. To try it like that, you just need to keep that toe hook. Madison's a little bit taller, maybe it's a little bit easier, but I think it looks hard.
Chloe fighting her way through here. Watching her do this makes you realize how impressive Lisa's flashes were of this boulder.
Yeah, she just climbed phenomenally this whole round.
Someone's asking about Chloe on women's 2. I will just check for you.
That was Chloe's on number 3. Chloe, did right.
Yeah, we were
Did
talking
they
about
get
her,
to-
whether she got awarded boulder number 2, 'cause it was right on the buzzer.
Right.
Doesn't seem to have been so far, so she's only be giving the zone for that.
In my mind, I was like, yeah, I saw her top. I saw her top the boulder, but yes, she was right on the time.
Yeah, there might be an appeal on that one, you never know. Are there appeals here? Presumably so.
I would say yes. Yeah. I mean, every competition that kind of follows the IFSC format, of course, you should be able to appeal.
Yeah, we have got an IFSC official here watching over things, and a lot of judges.
And Sergio on the far right in the first boulder, going up like this. And he crimped the edge there. Maybe he knows.
Yeah, this looks
Oh.
easier until you get to here, and then things start to unravel a little bit.
Yeah, that's crazy, but that works. He's just exercising his mind a little bit, figuring out different ways to do it.
Alana with the toes in doesn't get it done. Sergio, he's a route setter, isn't he?
Yeah,
Or have I-
yeah,
yeah, he was setting in Munich, I think.
Yeah, route setter, obviously a great competition climber as well, and I talked to him a little bit before, and yeah, he likes to just compete once in a while. No, I don't think he does the World Cups anymore, but just to almost like keep it fresh, just be in the competitor's mindset, be in ISO, obviously does a bunch of route setting, and is kind of good at it, but yeah, I admire that actually. Go and do a few comps just so you know what it feels like again, or you go through those you could just go through it. You go through the motions, so you don't become cynical of the competition.
Absolutely, route setters. I think they can sometimes feel a bit sort of out there by themselves. They're setting these boulders. The athletes are either complaining or liking them. They get a lot of stick.
That's why I go. That's why I go and route set. Like it sucks when you route set and you think you made a beautiful boulder and the competitors just hate it. And you're like, I worked so hard on that boulder, you guys. Just like.
Oh, interesting. You do it the other way, so you go and try the route setting just to get it. That's.
Looks like a flash on number 1. Yeah, Petra.
Oh yeah, Petra's back, and she was wondering what her form would be because she's been competing in the ice climbing World Cup. So she was saying how finger strength and compression moves, she's not strong on. Nika taking a big fall from the top of the wall there. Yeah, so Petra was just saying finger strength and compression moves are tricky for her, but obviously she is feeling strong. She won ice climbing World Cups.
And like we're just going to talk about general fitness here, so like cross training, a lot of people just do different things. I ended up doing like triathlon stuff, which is super fun, really different, but super fun. And Madison on number 3, did the first 2 obviously. Struggling a little bit more. She tried to go left hand all the way over. Needs to get that double shoulder and then probably the toe hooks. So we'll see if she adapts on this boulder. Oh, and Nimrod got the zone on number 2. This is probably the hardest move of the boulder right here.
Yeah, rocking through this lip. And as you can see how bad the hold is.
Yeah, and there's chips on both of them and on the arrival, but it's so far. And yeah, that looks like the crux of the boulder, with a little bit of spiciness to match the finish as well.
Yeah, he was a bit low on that slat round. Genya, she makes good work on this, but you can see how technically difficult it is as well. Looking down at her feet, ignoring the hands, really just trying to get something on it.
That's tricky, really tricky.
Madison again. You got to be careful of that right wall. She almost hit her head the time before.
Yeah, it's crazy because she does the second move by doing the cross, but she crosses into it as an undercling instead of doing the Tom Cruise double shoulder. And so the next move, yeah, she's trying to do the move and letting her feet swing instead of being Tom Cruise.
I'm forever going to call it the Tom Cruise double shoulder.
It is the
forever. That's it. That's in my climbing vocabulary.
That jump on men's 3, we've seen it tried so many times, but no one's actually done it the way the route setters said it, I think. Not yet.
And not many have done it. Well, no one's done it.
No one's
so
done
far.
it yet. And the 3 people that have gotten zone all did it with the toe hook or a heel hook. They cheated to the zone, but didn't actually cheat to the zone.
Genya now. Oh, the heel pops. As we swing around and Madison
got the underclings. So she managed to do right hand in the shoulder. I think she probably faced the wall. So now she's got zone. And we've seen people do the boulder like this. It's right hand up. You gotta get a toe again. And just, looked like a little foot slip or something slipped off there. She'll get the zone, which is really, really good, especially because she has the first 2 boulders. I'm gonna say actually that if she can just do the last boulder, she'll be in like solid like top 3 or 4.
Yeah, we're getting to the business end now. Much more tops coming through. Elisa Clem still way out in front for the women with 4 out of 4. And down in the danger zone is BB Hammers, who for a long time was on the top of the leaderboard for the women. And for the men, Mark Brand still in top place and Sergey in the danger zone. But remember, we haven't completed all these boulders, so I'm creating a little bit of drama where there isn't any at the moment because we're still waiting to see how things play out. Nimrod gets stood up over the lip.
Ooh, he did the hard move. Oh, he got his drop knee. Might be pretty easy to match with that drop knee. That was nice. That was a really nice finish.
Great climbing from him. He was part of the Golden Holds comp in Israel, and one of the main organisers for that. That's a knee. So the left knee is pressing.
I see it now. Yeah, it is a knee bar start.
She's done though, 16 seconds yet. She quits.
It's tricky because the people that have done the boulder, they don't use the knee bar. They tag the holds, they bring their feet back, and then they climb it straight up. Ooh, last try here on number 4. High, get high.
Just a bit too low for Nika, doesn't manage to get it this time. Right, well, 2 athletes to go that we haven't seen yet. Mikael Mawam, I think there he is on the bottom of your screen. Says hello to the crowd. Him and Sam Abazu will get to climb. Camilla Moroni and Stasha Gale will be
Oh,
out.
I didn't even see. Oh, I did see Simon on the first one. Did I see Simon on the first one? I don't remember.
I think
now.
we saw him briefly, but maybe not in detail. So there is Mikael.
So Mika's usually good at this type of stuff, and so I'm very curious to see how he gets through it. Gets to the zone pretty quickly, and what is he gonna do? Teach me the way. So brings both his feet to the right. Oh, which is actually like one of the best tries. That was a really quick flash from someone.
Yeah, Camilla
Good
Moroni
up,
getting
yeah.
that done. Chloe.
And Sergio, number 2, flash, which is really good because he'll save a lot of strength for that 3rd and 4th boulder where he kind of needs one more top. For the men, you need, looks like at least 2 tops, and it'll maybe go to zones. I'm curious if you'll need 3. Probably won't need 3, but 2 with all zones, looking pretty accurate. So Mika here, he had both feet outright, trying to walk it up.
Watch the right foot, that's what popped before.
Yeah, brings both feet and is trying to walk up while flipping his right arm. Chloe with the top on the 4th boulder, probably 2-3 tries. Goes up, shoulder. If he does it this way, he needs to get his left foot all the way up. Which is possible. But even there, once he gets under, you're a little bit stuck.
Yeah, he's going to have to flip that right hand at some point.
So yeah, both can work still in my mind, but Mika is very strong in those types of boulders, and you can see his mind working. Maybe just a hard boulder.
So a quick round for Camilla Moroni. That was a flash for women's 1. Just trying to see who was in action there in the middle. I think that's Lynn Vandermeer underneath. Went up for the left hand, missed it. Quite a long way below it.
Alana, number 3, quickly gets the zone, actually. She's on the zone right now. Goes for the knee bar.
And that right foot's only on the wall. I don't think there's anything to press against there. She chalks up. Enjoying her climbing. Oh, no! Oh.
The zone on men's number 3. With the heel hook method, just saying.
Yeah, Lana looks so in control then. Your head in her hands immediately when she popped off that.
Oh, undercling.
Very small footholds. That's the thing, when you're bumping around like that and you've got your toe on a small edge, it can easily pop. Mika can't make it. Has a look at the clock.
He might stop. He might try one more time though.
Certainly the brushes are getting you ready. Lynn, meanwhile, she hears the 1 minute marker go. Which hand will she go for? Goes with the left heel, so you think she's going to pop up with the left hand.
Get high. Oh, her heel popped actually as she was doing the move. Here we go, last try for Alana here on number 3.
Come on, Alana, I want to get this done now. So cool, that chalk up move. I think that took something out of her the time before. Shakes her hand, she's done.
So Alana got zone on 2 and 3. Basically needs well, for sure a top on the last one, and it'll come to tries.
Mika came close, face pressed against the wall there. Yeah, Chloe's in 8th position at the moment, and Alana still down in 11th, but with 2 boulders to go. See another top.
Did it like Victor. The reverse undercling on the second to last hole, and go again twice with the right hand. A tricky top.
So Jenya on the left of your screen, and I think, have we seen the end of Boulder? No, Stasha's back. So there's Stasha Gale, a final climber out on the map for the women, and then Sam Avazu in action. So we start to wind things down now. You've seen the hectic bit in the middle of this competition. Now things calm down as we look at our top qualifiers.
Oh, tries to span it. A little bit cheeky.
Look how she nailed that left toe.
Goes back and does it the real way.
She's on for flash here, as is Sam.
Little double clutch. Oh, really interesting. Yeah, Sam up on the hard part. Good flash by Stasha there.
Stash is 1 for 1. Sam is still on the wall, gets really high. It looks such a long way, that final hold. And also what I saw there is he's kind of underneath it with the legs. So when he tried to make the move, it gets in the way.
Yeah, and so like Mika's taller athlete than me. Sam is actually about the same size. He might actually still be taller than me, but they both look extremely comfortable in that position. I'm curious which way Sam will try to do it. Yeah, he did like the Spider-Man, like points way out there, where I'm curious if it is that right foot standing up that right foothold like Mika was trying in his first few tries. Madison on her last boulder.
It's Hannes van Dyson we quickly saw as well in the brownie t-shirt. Oh, looks to match his heel to his hand.
Oh, no drop knee. Oh, there you go. So both feet outright works. Yeah, it looks like for the men you need 2 tops and 4 zones. And for the women, you need 2 tops and 4 zones.
Ooh, going with the left hand. She's going to have to match if she does that.
Super tricky for the women because it's all boulder 1 and 4. You kind of need the tops on. You can get them in other places, but...
And that's Petra, right? This is kind of perhaps where that ice climbing comes in, because they're big, powerful moves, reachy as well. Getting fairly close to the left, looks down at her fingers. Yeah, so Petra said she just feels a little bit behind at the moment in terms of where her training should be, but she did decide to concentrate on that ice season. Madison struggling as she tries to bring the left in.
Yeah, that's crazy. You actually just stand up on the foothold and don't worry too much about the hold. It's funny because the hold is kind of a distraction here. If you just stand up, you can almost let go, it looked like, and you can either go to the zone with your left hand or right hand once you've stood up. And it looks like she's going towards the zone where you need to stand up here. It's more important to get it up and over the foothold and almost do it like a slab.
Hannes with a real turn drop knee there to get back in. And Petra's on the wall as well in the middle of your screen. Photographer's leaning down on top of the wall getting that shot. Right, she's into the pinch. Bumps the left hand. Still quite low though to make this next move. Eyes it up. Big bump up, catches it with the left. Just with the left hand. Any moment I'm expecting it to pop, but she makes the match work. And from here,
Gotta take out her right foot and stab the little foothold. There we go. Last powerful move to finish. Come on. Snatch it. Nice. Front flag.
oh, the right foot. Oh, that's about as close as you get without it working. Heartbreak for Petra. She breathes a big puff of air out of her cheeks.
Oh, that's super hard too. A minute left on the clock. I mean, she's gonna have to rest for 30 seconds and then do a sprint attempt or stop. That's such a hard decision.
Yeah, and she's brushing, so I guess she's going to carry on. And she's been really nice to the next competitor. 37 seconds, you're right. I mean, it's not a lot of time to get that boulder done.
It's a really hard decision. You're so close. You basically fell matching the finish hole. And
Yeah, she's going to be fatigued. Let's see if she's got that. Sam as well. No more progress through that zone than we've seen before. Yeah, Petra burns out. She'll call it a day with 16 seconds. Nimrod is still climbing.
oh, Sam got his feet up. Crazy, he went to the edge.
He hasn't got long though.
So close. He got the farthest on the boulder, except for the person that got to the top. He was outright, so it was the most interesting to watch, but just couldn't figure out in time. So he finished with one top on the men's boulder for that first boulder.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's done. Oh, sorry, yes, Hannes van Dyson
Yeah,
got
Hannes
boulder
van
one done, yeah.
So the results are coming in a lot clearer now, and it looks like for the men, it'll be 2 tops and all the zones, and it comes to those attempts to those 2 tops that are going to come into play. And actually the same thing for the women. It's going to be 2 tops, all the zones, and it's going to be those attempts to the top. And obviously if you manage to do 3 or 4 boulders like Lisa, you're going to be in for sure.
Camilla Moroni. Now this is the kind of boulder she loves, so powerful. And she's ridiculously strong, gets the high left heel. This is where Petra just caught him with the fingers.
Oh yeah.
Full palm on for her though. Oh, loses the right foot.
Slip on that heel. And is Alana on 4? So she needs to do it in. She just needs to do it. First or second try would be very nice. I believe this is her first try. So I think she flashes that boulder. So she's going to be 2 tops, 2 tries with those 4 zones, and 2 tries actually on that last boulder. And so she's in second place provisionally, which I actually think will be fine. She might get knocked down based on tries, but it's unlikely that more than one other person is actually going to do 3 boulders or 3 or 4 boulders.
Yeah, I mean, her separation from
there.
Chloe is just on tries, so you're right, it makes such a big difference here. And that was...
Top on number 4. I believe that's 2 boulders for him. Boulders 2 and 4. But did he do the 3rd zone? He did. So again, yeah, 2 tops, 4 zones, tries.
Camilla there, crazy to hold that swing. Lost her feet and somehow stuck it. Fell the second time. She has got time, 2 minutes 47, so lots of opportunity to rest, get herself ready for this last couple of goes. And there is Sergey, talking about him a lot. He's the route setter, does work as an IFSC route setter sometimes. Just keeping his eye in. Interesting.
Because actually this boulder is so hard even just to get the zone, you might actually see a bunch of people with 2 tops and only 3 zones. Just because this whole column on this boulder is super hard to get the zone, that I would not be surprised to see a bunch of people that have 2 tops. Doesn't really matter the number of tries, and then just the 3 zones.
So both her feet smearing on the wall. Comes up with the left. Looking really good. That left toe though, now it's on.
Match though, tricky match. Oh, Rose.
Now that was the intended beater for that move.
The little Rose?
Yeah, the
Oh,
Rose
nice.
through. Because yeah, a cross under like that. Camilla's still going. I feel like she's close to this. This could be it. Has she got it? Left hand up. Needs to be careful with her feet.
Oh, toe hook, and then straight to the chip.
Oh, she's not on it yet. Now she's on it. And a bicycle
Oh,
in
there you
there.
go. Looks strong here. See if she can finish it.
We watch Petra drop it from here. Watch the right toe.
Oh, sneaky toe hook. Keep her hips under, and she tops. She has already topped.
Just
So
makes
get
double
the
sure.
double top just to make sure.
Thought she was going to climb off the top then, towards the cameraman.
Mika on problem 2 or 3. Is he on the jump or? No, 2, power. The tricky power though, with all the chips and the...
So a minute to go for this round. We're nearing the end of this semi-final. Finals is tomorrow, 6:45. We'll start talking. 7 o'clock it kicks off. And I know that the tickets are completely sold out. So if you're living in the Netherlands, you can't come and see it. Make sure you watch the live stream. Myself and Sean McCall will be back. That is Lynn van der Meer. Getting close to where she was last time. This is the Rose move.
Yeah. She got there a lot quicker. So. Yeah, get it. Nice, unwind.
Shoulders screaming.
Get high. Nice. Wow, that was a nice top.
2 seconds to go as well, right on the
Didn't
limit.
even see the clock. Wow, crazy.
Awesome work. Hello everyone, still watching on YouTube. Hope you're there and enjoying it. Remember, you haven't got long to ask Sean a question, or to ask any questions really. Although there was a debate about markings on the wall that people seem to have sorted out, so thank you for that. I love the chat on a competition.
I actually do too.
It's fun to see what everyone's thinking.
Yeah, I hate that IFSC disabled it, but maybe they just get lots of hate. So.
That is the reason, yeah. It has to be
If you have a
monitored.
moderator, I'd moderate it, but I live in a digital world, in a gaming world, in a toxic gaming world.
You're used to the abuse. Wouldn't volunteer your services.
Yeah, having a hard time standing on that foot, actually.
Yeah, that's Petra Klinglet.
Petra on 3.
Jenya on her final.
I'm powerful, but so they go right, they do feet first, and they cross under towards their feet. It seems pretty logical.
And Stasha, she flashed boulder
Ooh,
1.
matches the zone. Interesting.
Is this her
Goes
flash
back.
attempt on this? Just
I think so, yeah.
I'm going to try to just update the scores and have a look for you.
Go here, left hand up. Nice. Gets the toe. Stasha's also quite tall, so she can keep her feet quite low. And then, God.
Almost too casual coming over.
Crazy. And Sam Avazu on men's 2 there. Goes for the drop knee, no, foot match. And then a small foot match to finish. Or no, there you go.
Is he wearing a t-shirt or a gilet? I can't work it out.
I think he's wearing a t-shirt under, but it might be one of those double ones.
Stylish man gets it done.
Fresh off a podium finish at French Nationals, I believe. I think finished 3rd.
Petra cuts loose and swings, misses the toes the first time. Looking a little bit tired out there on the mats. Stasha trying to see the top of the hole, was jumping up to have a look. Top 6 is starting to make sense. For the women, Lisa Clem, 4 flashes out of floor. Let's watch Jenya here as she eyes up the jump.
Oh, come on. Oh, nice. And that puts her into finals with that top, I believe. Got to go for tries here.
Yeah, she's in 3rd position at the moment.
So 4 tries for the last boulder. I was curious if it was going to be one more try, which would bump her down 1 spot, and with a couple other people, you just never really know. But
Stasha's about to top out women's 2. Oh, the flag.
the front, that was the front flag that I was calling for on the other competitor.
Petra's still going. Nimrod Marcus on his last climb of the evening.
Yeah, a little step through, foot up. There you go.
He has got such good
That
footwork.
is crazy. Oh, Samir.
You can hear a rumble, by the way. That's the. Oh, look at that from Nimrod.
Nice, a little pogo to finish.
He barely looked at that block hold. He just knew it was there as he came
Yeah.
up with the left. Great work from him. Well, Petra's left alone on the mats. With a minute and a half to go.
And I'm curious, that is 2 tops for Nimrod. Without the zone on 3, I still think it's enough.
Yeah, Nimrod's in 2nd position. Mark Brand still on the top.
Yeah, just getting those 2 tops, it might just be any 2 tops for the men make it. Not even worried about zones, but.
Huge jump there to try to get in. I said she was alone on the mat. She's not at all, of course. I just didn't see him in the shadows. Petra almost using this competition as training to see where she's at. Albert is asking us, what's our favourite boulder of the round?
Favorite boulder of the round.
It's tricky with favourite, isn't it? Because I really like women's 2, just because it's so physical, so difficult.
The women's 2 is the...
Isn't that the lime green?
Tricky one with the, with the toe hooks, yeah.
Petra's still going, and she really needs a zone on this as well, which she should have. Maybe not. Just gonna have a little look. I think Petra's outside of the final at the moment. Yeah.
That boulder's hard for them, man. Oh, that's tricky, actually. I actually really like the women's 4th boulder because it's a little bit odd, but combines a little bit of balance with a blind jump.
Well, we're trying to show you a replay here, but technical difficulties. We'll just stick to our crew instead as they clean up. So your boulder number 4.
Yeah, I think the women's 4 was actually, yeah. It's only 2 moves. They got the zone in there, but it is complex at the same time, so.
So that is Camilla. Careful. And Lynn Vandermeer on this 2-move wonder here. So she's set up for it.
Oh, just touched it. I think she should probably be able to do that second try. It's hard on those moves there. You're almost scared because you can't really see it. And then as soon as you touch it, you can feel where it is. You rest, you get up there again, and then you're like, okay, I know where it is this time, and then you do it.
Sergey, beautiful footwork again. Remember Nimrod Marcus smearing on that hold. On the wall, sorry, not the hold. Right, 3 minutes 40 to go. Mika with a big swing, almost held it. The left hand coming in and under. I would though quite like to have a go on this boulder.
This boulder actually is quite nice for the women as well.
Someone gets a top off screen. Meanwhile, we stick with Camilla. Gets 2 toes in. Good work from her into the smears. Out with the left, which sets her up for that rose move. Watch Mika hit.
Oh, he does the jump. Crazy.
No way, outrageous from him. There was no point of that. I thought he was going to stick it, and somehow he held it.
But the last one looks so hard. Oh, you go and you catch a toe hook. Or you heel it.
He's trying to heel. Cheered on by the crowd. It's still got 2 minutes 29, so we can rethink this if it doesn't work. But look, resting. This is going to be a little bit.
Foot there, yeah. And a heel. Where you go down and you switch to a toe. Oh, he's going to try to span it, maybe.
Keeps looking towards the zone. He can also get a foot up there, but it's crushed up underneath him.
Yeah, he might try to span. It looks far though. There you go, it goes low.
He's trying everything.
Oh, he just ran out of steam there.
Have we seen anyone on top that yet? I don't think we have, no. So no one's top men's 3.
It's crazy too, because Mika needs that zone. And if he does the last one quickly, he could still make finals. But would need to do the last one in 1 or 2 tries.
So Mika leaving things to the last minute here. Yeah, so our top 6, down at the bottom of the top 6 for the men is Tees van de Crest, who did the Big Island in Font the other day, actually. That's an 8C boulder, so obviously he's feeling compression-y. And then for the women, if that's a word, which it's not, for the women, Felicia May is down in 6th position. She's in the danger zone. Lisa Clem in top position.
2 and 7 with all the zones.
Camilla's got 50 seconds. Looks like she's burning out as well. Straight back on it though.
And Camilla's on 4. That's crazy. She only needs that zone to make finals. She doesn't even need the top. Can you do it again? The jump.
Sorry, Camilla's on 3.
On
So she's got 1 to go.
3. Right, okay. So she only needs zone on number 4 to make it.
So impressive stuff. And you can see the wall purple on the right. That's the boulders we're not seeing. And
No,
Sergey
Sergio
gets it.
did it.
Sergio, sorry.
Sergio, excuse me.
No, it was me. I've forgotten. So good work from Sergio. That might put him in a finals position.
Curious if the last. Yeah,
Yeah.
He'll be fine. He'll
So
be
he's in
almost
fourth.
for sure in. Yeah, that's even without the updated.
Yeah.
He might be in 3rd.
Yeah, so we're waiting for the scores to get going. Hopefully we'll see them up on the board at
2,
some
3.
point. Right, the clock keeps on ticking relentlessly down. 4 minutes 45 on the next rotation. I think Stasha's back on, which means Sam's back on. And there we are, score. So Lisa Clem, look at that, 4 out of 4, unbelievable from her. Alana Yip, your teammate, in 3rd. As we go down towards the bottom, Felicia in 6th place, pushing Lorraine out. That's our current top 6. And you're right, it's all about 1 and 4 for tops.
Yeah, right now, Felicia obviously right on the bubble with 2 tops, 4 zones, and 7 tries. And then here, 1 top, 3 zones with 3 tries, right on the bubble there. And so, who can knock him out? Sam, and I think Mika as well.
I'm presuming Paul and Mark are brothers. I haven't actually asked them. I'm guessing. Paul Brand, Mark Brand? Let us know. Right, so there is Stasha, and there is Sam. Yeah, Sam Abazu is really one to watch for next season. Keep an eye on him. Had a brilliant end to last year. Very strong in Munich. Toe hooks for him. Yeah, got set up for the jump there. Didn't try the heel or toe stretch out. I think it's going to be a bit too far for him to do that.
Yeah, he looked pretty good actually. But is it good enough for him to do it like that?
Stasha has a long look at this problem. Yeah, Stasha is experienced enough to know when she's ready to go. 2 minutes 48. And she is resting there. Now walks towards the wall. She's having a long look at that last section of holds before the lip.
Close for Sammy. His left hand popped out at the end of that. But
And this is the sequence she was having a look at. So left hand down, gets the right toes. Oh. No resting for Stasha. This is well read from her at the moment.
I'm curious if she'll see that rose, if she'll just double match. Gets the zone though. By getting the zone, it means that she only needs to get the zone on number 4 to make finals. A top would also work on either of these boulders. This is when you get to see people in 6th, the climbers that are left, and what they have to do to be in order to make finals. Even Chloe is maybe on the, well, she's on the bubble for sure, and may not make finals. Both Camilla and Stasha both passed it.
When you finish and you're in 6th place, what's the general sort of like, what do you do? Do you go back and just constantly refresh your phone, or do you just go away and wait for it all to be done? And
No, usually you sit there. Usually you do wait. Sometimes in qualification, when it's really tight and you're 19th or 20th, that's actually usually a good time to maybe go home because you still may have 2 rounds to go. I've done both. I've just left and watched and hit refresh from home, and I've stayed to the end of competitions, and it's gone both ways. Sometimes I make it, sometimes I don't. So there's not really a good way to do that. Usually it's over pretty quick anyways. Sometimes in qualification to semis, it takes a long time. So usually just the stress of 4 hours of watching it around is not worth it. So usually just go home and just look at the computer kind of thing.
We haven't seen much of him climbing in this comp yet. He is, I'm gonna have a look, make sure he is in the top 6. Not at the moment, he's not.
Oh, Sam was really close to a 720 coming off that boulder.
I always think points should be given for style like that. If you could just like trick your way off it, I think you should get like something like half a zone. Frustration from him with 15 seconds. He's outside in 12th, sorry, yeah, 12th, shared 12th position. So not enough for him. Sam spins down as well. So he should get a little point something for style.
So Sam needs zone on the last boulder to make it. Simon only needed zone on that 4th boulder to make it, but could not get it. So he is out. And Mika is gonna need a top on boulder 4 in 3 tries. 1, 2, or 3 tries. And if it takes him 4, he will be out.
Oh, Camilla stretches.
So funny enough, they might give her zone for that.
You think that could be counted as using it? Well,
I could
she seems to
argue.
think so.
I could argue both ways for that one.
Yeah.
So, are we going with new IFSC rules or old IFSC rules?
Yeah, because the old IFSC rules, you could kind of just
That would
tighten
count.
it.
That would count.
Yeah, like
in
a tendon
any
would
year
count.
leading up to last year, and in this last year, it may not. I'm not a judge, so.
Yeah, thank goodness I'm not. Mika though is on this last blocked
There you
hole,
go.
misses
You
the
get it
left.
easy. So there. Now she just tried to do it the normal way. Gets it solid, and most likely will top the boulder. Come on, get up high. There you go. Nice.
Gets on the one hand, brings the other in.
So it's hard. Like she doesn't know that she just needs the zone to make it. But looking at that, you would think she somehow knew. She absolutely did not know. But then focused, just did the boulder, and is in the top 3.
Yeah, Camilla's really come on as well last couple of years. I remember watching her in the youth and thinking, right, who is this person and when is she going to break through? And just she looks so at home in the senior circuit. Petra, yeah, outside. Well, she's not in the final, is she?
No, it really needed that 3rd zone on that blue boulder. So she didn't get zone on the blue boulder because she tried the undercling, got the toe hooks. Did she really not get that? No, I don't think she did.
She certainly hasn't been given it on the scoreboard. So Petra Klingler is out unless there's some kind of an appeal that happens.
I'm just trying to recap her tries, and got over to the toe hooks once and then couldn't get back over there. So she never got that zone. And Mika needs a top here, actually.
And
And
he came close time
yeah,
before.
and he's good on these types of boulders, so I would say he should be able to do this. And get the foot. Oh, he goes all the way on the 1st foot, crazy. Foot. Oh no, he needs to probably move his feet first.
And remember, Mika doesn't know what he has to do here. We know, you know, watching at home, but he doesn't. So things getting tense down there on the mats. Going a little bit over the scheduled time.
Oh, Mika, what, was that his 2nd try or 3rd try?
I will check, hang on. So
I actually think that's his 2nd try. So, yeah, got zone on the 1st, that was his 2nd, so he has 1 more try. I don't care about the clock.
So all eyes look at Mika here. He's got to get this now.
He doesn't know that, so it should actually help him in this case, because if you said he has to get it this try, he would be more nervous. He's not nervous, so the chances of him just, slipping off the 1st move are still there, but, come on, Mika.
For him, it's another attempt. For us watching,
This is finals. Finals on the line. Yeah, move the foot. Oh, he's gonna stick with it. Just try hard, yeah. And move the feet. It's hard to move the feet. Come on, get it.
No! Oh, and just like that
Just
is...
a bit too hard. Needed to move those feet first.
So his comp, that's him out of the finals because of that. Would be great to see him finish it off though, and he certainly will want to. Minute 12, he's got lots of time. Sean, you've got some fans out there. Do you have an outdoor project at the moment? Maybe we'll talk about it after this. You think about that, and then we've got the break. So Mika is out, but he wants to finish things off on a high for him. His first competition back this year.
Yeah, you can see actually how close those footholds are to the hands. So his hands on it. Or some people move their feet twice to put their feet over there, but then you're a little bit scrunched. As he goes to the second foothold now, and he might have to match or go to the first and get you that foot up onto that third. Just slipping a little bit. He's done. Oh yeah, 17 seconds left.
All right, well Mika's
All right.
finished. Unlucky not to make it through. So yeah, so Sean, do you have an outdoor project at the moment?
No, honestly, like with my injury, I haven't climbed outside in over a year actually. What are we in March? Maybe a little bit less, but no, I was focused on that, and then with the Olympics being moved a whole year, I took time off after the Olympics, where I guess I climbed a little bit outside, but didn't really have many projects, and it's just back to the circuit, and yeah, Paris is coming up real quick.
Yeah, it really is. It's kind of come up on us quite quickly. Right, so Sam Abazu's last boulder. Same with Stasha. In fact, this is the last of the last. This is it. Final 5 minutes.
Sam needs zone.
Yeah, and he's creeping towards it.
Stasha's already, no, Stasha needed zone.
Oh, she's
But
got a
gets
top instead.
I think Sam has the zone. I don't know if that's the zone.
Right, well that's
I think
Stasha
it is.
safely into the final. She's in second place behind Lisa Clem.
There you go. And Sam's also in finals with the zone. Probably gets a top for good measure. Easy.
Ah, easy stuff. Well,
lesson.
that will finish things off for us, I think. We'll wait to see confirmation of the scores on screen to see who's got through into the top 6. Not really expecting too many appeals on this, so things should stay as they are. And if you do want to join us for the finals, that is tomorrow evening. 7 p.m. things kick off. 6:45 we start talking. And I think this is probably a good time to drop in the older sponsors while we wait for the confirmation of the scores. So big shout out to NKBV and La Sportiva. Oh, hello. We're back on camera. What's up, everyone? So main sponsors there. Axis, Unit Holds, Unleashed Climbing, Ibex Holds, Vision Grip, X-Holds, Contact, Elevation Climbing, I can't believe you're watching this while I'm reading this bit, Physio Fabric, Climb Lab, The Circuit Climbing, App Climbing, and Bizor Butin. And I've definitely mispronounced that, so apologies for that. Those are our sponsors here. My name is Matt Groom, this is Sean McCall. And Sean, just quickly while we talk about it, I mean, a good solid round, some difficult boulders there. And Lisa Clem, I've got to talk about her because 4 out of 4, no one
flashes.
coming close to that.
Yeah, I mean, and we saw her climb. She climbed phenomenally. It wasn't like she struggled up the boulders and just got a little bit lucky on it. She like crushed every boulder, like. So I don't know. She just climbed really, really well, and I'm really, really excited to see her in finals.
Yeah, me too. And then Mark Brand, top of the leaderboard. He came out early on, made it to the top spot, and Jens Delow down at the bottom. Well, guys, if you want to see more of this Dock Masters action, make sure you check back in with us tomorrow evening. I'll be there. Sean will be there. It's going to be a heck of a final. 600 plus people packed into that gym downstairs. Sean, thank you so much for being here with me tonight. Sorry you're injured, but brilliant having your thoughts.
That's all right. I'm excited for tomorrow. Thanks for having me.
Ah, mate, always. Well, guys, thank you for watching. We will see you very soon. In fact, tomorrow. Good night, everyone.